This city was doomed. With the seeds of evil sown long before it fell, Canabris ended up in flames. Those who survived were left to face an even worse fate. We have a glimmer of hope. A gift of tremendous power has been given to one of us. One who has become a leader, united us, and given us the strength to fight back. Nothing will keep us from victory now. The question is, what will become of us when we finally win? You can get it. Yeah. Well, you can get it. Yeah. Yeah, you can get it.
Play it day one with Xbox Game Pass.
What in Hades' name is Mythos, and why should I care? Great question. Let me regale you. With Mythos, you can fully embrace the legends of the ancient world and dive into a mythic total war experience. Put down the pointy ball mask in Mythos, the Minotaur is real and as amazing as ever. Get it? Because of the labyrinth maze myth. Moving on. Mythic units from the base game have been upgraded with updated models and animations. Flying harpies, centaurs, cyclopses and giants are just a few of the new units you'll find around the new Mythic map. And hey, don't be afraid to be a tourist and take a few snaps with Troy's photo mode. What's the worst that could happen? Create your own Odyssey and embark on one of 3 new expeditions to track, fight, and tame legendary beasts. The Griffin, the Hydra, and Cerberus. Use these towering monsters in battle and watch your enemies flee to the much less fantastical historical mode. But don't expect these mighty beasts to just roll over and join you. Who's a good boy? The gods love to watch us mere mortals go about our petty lives. Spy them chilling in the sky. Saying Zeus is my sky papa might sound strange, but in Mythos it's entirely possible. Heroes can call upon the likes of Ares to increase morale and melee attack, Artemis to increase movement speed, and Aphrodite to literally stop men in their tracks. As the gods are a fickle bunch, make sure you stay on top of your offerings. A temple or two won't hurt either. You don't want unexplained events happening to you. So what is mythos? It's heroes playing fast and loose with the power of the gods, hurling lightning bolts and causing tidal waves. It's actual monsters joining the fight, giving you a wealth of unit variety and playstyles. It's mythic beasts tearing their way through the front lines, instilling terror and turning the tides of battle. It's a spectacle for the eyes, campaign and battle maps revitalized with the mystic wonders of the ancient world. But a word of advice. You may want to stay away from the beach. Jump in and create your own legend.
History is all around us. Those who made it have never been forgotten. Their daring choices echo across time, turning land into kingdoms and mortals into legends. If history was in your hands, what would you build? How would you fight? Where would you go? What will you be remembered for?
What if time could be rewritten? What if we could bring back the wondrous creatures extinction left behind? What if you could run your own prehistoric kingdom? Through the power of genetic technology, biological marvels from a bygone era roam the Earth once more, providing an opportunity to protect, preserve and nurture the ancient past. But it's not just the animals that are looked after. State-of-the-art facilities keep the guests entertained and satisfied throughout their visit to the park. This place is a sanctuary for our planet's rich history, with extinct species of all shapes and sizes. And of course, you can also find some of the cute ones. It reminds me of mine back home. It's crucial we give these beautiful creatures the respect and care they need. Or else we might be the ones facing extinction.
Peggy 16. What's up, everybody? IGN Executive Editor of Commerce and proud U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Seth Macy here to break down all of the biggest announcements, trailers, and news from Gamescom 2021. Did you miss something? I got you covered. This is IGN's coverage of the coverage, presented by USAA Insurance. USAA makes it easy to do business with personalized solutions for any insurance needs. USAA, providing exceptional service for when the unexpected occurs. But now, let's get to the news. Jeff Keighley's Opening Night Live hit us with a dump truck of video game news. But the news started in the pre-show. We got announcements for King of Fighters, 3v3v3 game 9 to 5. That's a lot of numbers, I know. And of course, the pulse-pounding Bus Simulator 21. We finally got confirmation that yes, the new Saints Row is indeed a reboot, and it looks awesome. The Saints have packed their bags and starting from the bottom as a scrappy up-and-coming gang looking to leave their mark on the world. Yeah, I could go on and on about how the announcement trailer featured a ton of Easter eggs and details, but thankfully, kind folks over at IGN got a chance to sit down with the developers of the game for a comprehensive rewind theater, so don't miss out.
Get the f*** away from my friends.
We got a look at a Halo Infinite multiplayer cinematic that sets the theme for Season 1 of the game when it launches. And, of course, we got an announcement for the game's release date. Yes, finally, December 8th, 2021. So keep those calendars clear, Spartans.
Glad to see me.
Speaking of release date reveals for giant games, Horizon Forbidden West is now releasing on February 18th, 2022. One surprise announcement absolutely no one was expecting was Dokevi, an open-world MMO that is all about collecting creatures in an absolutely stunning world. I mean, look at it. I have zero idea of what's going on, but there's character transformations, cool modes of transportation, animals, and joyful animations left and right. This looks like a game to keep an eye on, for sure. Those looking to get their Marvel on, well, guess what? We've got some good news. We've got two new Marvel games. First up, the tactical strategy game Marvel's Midnight Sun that looks like it's diving into the supernatural side of the Marvel Universe. And it's from the minds that brought us XCOM, Enemy Unknown, so expect lots of heartbreak from missed attacks you were sure you were going to hit. Another Marvel announcement was Marvel Future Revolution, a mobile game. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga showed its head, and that game looks incredible. Look, I know they're Lego, but come on, those are some good-looking Danish blocks. The game allows you to play through all 9 movies in the Skywalker Saga, which is a lot. That is an objective truth. And despite whatever your feelings are on the movies in the franchise, that's good news. And it wouldn't be a Jeff Keighley show without an extended look at Death Stranding Director's Cut, which showed off a very Metal Gear Solid style level, which I am way into. And of course, more sick ramps, which I am also way into. And that does it for today's coverage of the coverage. What did you think of all the announcements? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, get the right coverage with USAA Insurance. Membership, eligibility, and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. Property and casualty insurance provided by United Services Automobile Association and its affiliate property and casualty insurance companies is available only to persons eligible for P&C group membership. Each company has sole financial responsibility for its own products.
Grab a seat, get comfortable, and prepare yourself. Because Gamescom Studio is back for day 2. Coming up today, we've got brand new, never-before-seen looks at the biggest games from the biggest names. But we didn't forget about the smaller studios. Today, we're getting you up close with some extremely cool new games from independent studios and creators on a show we're calling Awesome Indies. And we're coming to you from LA's historic Venice Beach, plus a live episode of Next Gen Console Watch. No matter where you are on the planet, you're in the right place to celebrate the best in gaming. So grab a seat, get comfortable. Wait, we already said that. Just hang out. Gamescom Studio Live is about to start any second now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gamescom Studio, live on IGN. I'm Damon Hatfield, one of the friendly faces you'll be seeing throughout the day, but I'm not alone. I am also joined by Michael Swaim and Kim Horcher.
Thank you so much, Damon. Before we get started, we wanted to let you know about a few ways you can be a part of Gamescom from home. For starters, there's Gamescom Now, a one-stop hub where you'll find all of the content coming out of Gamescom, from trailers and gameplay demos to screenshots and interviews. Plus, you can win goodies and prizes by participating in the Gamescom Epics Quest, and it's all totally free. You can find out more at now.gamescom.global.
And of course, you can engage with other virtual Gamescom attendees around the world across a ton of social platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Just use the hashtag Gamescom2021 to join the conversation, and who knows, maybe we'll share your post on Gamescom Studio.
That sounds great. Now, I know you're dying to see some trailers and gameplay, but really quick, here's what's coming up. At 11:30 a.m. Pacific, you can catch more of Swaim revealing some awesome indie games and a showcase with the self-explanatory title of Awesome Indies. After that, we're kicking off Gamescom Studio, where you can expect tons more trailers, gameplay, and developer interviews on anticipated games like Dying Light 2, Forza Horizon 5, and more. And later on, we've got a brand new Next Gen Console Watch, where we'll break down all the biggest news around the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Now, thank you for waiting patiently. We know you're here to see some video games. Kim, what's next?
Well, Damon, if you've ever wished you could beat up strangers over the internet, now you can, legally, in a brutal medieval PvP experience. This is Blood of Heroes.
What bringeth thee here, mortal? No name, no memory. What forgest thou in gore? Thou feedest fire with pain, blood, and the death. Why keepest thou returning over and over? What bringeth thee here?
Players can use magic or brute force to punish their enemies. Even the slightest mistake in this arena's brawler can end in certain death. I mean, come on, the game's name is Blood of Heroes. That kind of sums it up, right? Well, we actually have quite a few more questions. So joining us today are Game Director Dmitry Voronov and the game's community lead Ulad Lisin. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hello, and thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, kind of just give us a quick rundown of what exactly Blood of Heroes is.
Blood of Heroes was born from an idea of making a PvP fighting game with melee battles. At the time there were next to no games of this kind available on the market. What I mean is we had either great by all multiplayer games, for example Rooney or legendary Blade of Darkness, or game modes that primarily single player games, for example Dark Souls. Today Blood of Heroes is a game about fierce warriors, the heroes of Borderland world who lived and fight endlessly on their personal quest for glory. It features an easy to start combat system that revolves around simple combinations of battle moves, like light and heavy attacks and dodges and so on. The premise is simple: block the light attack, dodge from the heavy one. These are the basics that players figure out and get used to very quickly. But then goes the very long list of details. Every hero has dozens of nuances to them, personal sets of moves, abilities, counteractions, and so on. Best players have to keep all of them in mind and incorporate into their strategies, find the best moments to defend and to attack in every particular matchup, which makes every battle feel like no other.
Yeah, absolutely, and we are going to get into some of that gameplay, but we're looking at the CGI trailer now, which kind of teases some story beats, so I'm curious if the story is something that will evolve and be built on as you play through the game?
Oh yeah, you totally can expect that. In our opinion, it's not too impossible.
O gráfico desse jogo tá muito louco, velho.
The good, well-grounded story that lies in the foundation of that setting, which should to have such.
Acho que eu vou comprar videogame.
At the moment, Blood of Heroes has a pretty vast and well-developed lore, and as the game progresses,
Olha
we
isso.
want to revealing it bit by bit,
Pior que eu tô indo dormir
lifting the
cedo.
veil on certain details of our grim world, on its characters and their relationships and so on. We plan on doing so too, Blood of Heroes related videos, in-game hints and leaks, and probably even community events and initiatives. Lore is a big part of Blood of
Vou
Heroes,
compartilhar
and
aqui
we
rapidão.
definitely want to share it and get players engaged into it. And revealing its mysteries and cracking its secrets, as well as arguing about its details.
Yeah, so we're looking at gameplay here. And I actually saw before, we had the characters selecting, a class and weapons. So would you mind giving us a breakdown of some of the different play styles we'll encounter in the game?
Actually, in our case, players choose not weapon. They choose heroes. And heroes are weapon in itself. Heroes go a bit beyond these two entities. Each of our heroes has a character-specific weapon and a set of basic characteristics. But in addition to that, two unique abilities, special counteraction, and certain advantages and disadvantages. Trying to balance all of our characters for all the available game modes, we decided to abandon the idea of using the traditional pure classes.
Tô passando
Instead,
mal,
we
filho?
introduce mixed classes, and every hero represents their own unique playstyle. Every player is free to choose a playstyle that fits them
Vai dar
best,
pouquinho de
from
susto.
slow defense-oriented one to quick and aggressive, from stationary and positional to ever-moving and super mobile. From the one looking for that one massive deadly blow, to those who prefer disintegrating their opponents with a long series of lightning fast missions. Yes, it's important to mention that every single one of our heroes is good at both killing and surviving, as long as you get on the right side and find the proper approach to them. You
Ah,
can
minha
just
filha
go
tá
with
aqui, ó.
the hero whose
Parece
playstyle
aqui.
fits you the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're in the duel mode here. So can you guys tell me a little bit, will this game mode include kind of game progression, or is it mostly kind of just to spar with your friends and test your build?
As a matter of fact,
Eu tenho um filho também, mas ele não tá por aqui não.
Beta goes live, we will have 3 duel-like game modes in Blood of Heroes. The first one is a fighting you arena board. Not exactly a separate mode, but rather a way to sharpen your battle skills while still staying in
Ah,
the lobby.
sim.
Yes, the bot is waiting for you in the lobby, and you can fight it while looking for a multiplayer game. Our closed beta players
Oxe, caiu sozinho
mentioned
os
that
caras, mano.
fighting arena bot is the best way to
Oh,
train
hell!
one's skills. Say stamina control or varying.
Mostra essa
But of
pequena
course,
aí.
fighting the bots
Vem
gets
aqui.
boring very quickly. Whenever that happens, try going to friendly duel.
Assim, oi, Ana.
Another duel mode that varies
Dá
far
tchau. Ah.
a friend and test your build from the situation.
A câmera ali,
Friendly duel
ó.
is one
Câmera
of
ali,
the
ó.
best way to try and see how certain actions can work in real matches against real people. Finally, there is the duel mode itself, an actual game mode that we think of as the competitive mode of Blood of Heroes. The ultimate skill test. With no teammates to rely on and no excuses.
Tá comendo aqui, deixa ela terminar de comer, que ela vem assistir comigo aqui.
And I noticed earlier that there
Gosta
were
de jogo de
some
celular, viu?
cosmetic
Gosta.
options for the arenas. So are these just cosmetic, or do they affect gameplay as well?
Very much so. Every player has their own home base. We call it personal arena. That they can decorate in accordance with their test and show off to their opponents and duels. That's
Pai, que tão
one
calor
of
da
our
miséria.
favorite Blood of Heroes features. So some of this decoration are purely cosmetic, but even they can greatly affect the overall feel of the game. Take weather for instance. Our closest beta players mentioned that fighting under the soft light of crimson sunset is very different from fighting under the green lightning of nighttime gloom. However, some decoration are meant to directly affect the gameplay. Arena cores, for example, change duel gameplay from purely face-to-face athletic displaying disc to dangerous, tricky, and unpredictable with hexagon, where any awkward poorly calculated move can lead to defeat.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. So what kind of strategies do you see players employing when it
parte que eu
comes
xingo
to
os
fighting
caras,
in these
né?
like kind
Do
of tighter
PVP.
corridors
Eu
as
gosto do
opposed to
PVP
more
e
open
começo a
spaces in the
xingar.
arena?
Well, actually, the way we see is deliberately taking the battle to tight corridors or to open areas is quite a strategic thing to do it in itself. But in regards to your questions, it all depends on particular heroes and their available skill sets. In Blood of Heroes, weapon hits can collide with environment, so in order to successfully fight in tight corridors, one has to choose characters that can perform straight, sharp attacks. In this manner, players will not
O
get
jogo não parece ser
punished
tão
for
ruim não, cara.
being negligent with their attacks. But that is just one part of equation.
Ali embaixo aparece o
The other
ping e o
part,
outros.
team synergy, is far more interesting. For example, our players have come up
KBPS.
with a strategic formation for Brawl that we had never considered ourselves. In this formation, one character uses his characters and abilities specifically in tight corridors to cover his teammates, who, if positioned properly, absolutely destroy the opponent team. In other words, one player sacrifices his health to decoy the opponent's team into a tight corridor, which then turned into a death trap. This is just one example of the strategies you mentioned in the question. Our players recognized and developed this one, and we really hope that we will have dozens of such examples in the future. It's a very pleasant part when players play not as intended, but as they want.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, Blood of Heroes sure
Blood
looks,
of
well, bloody.
Heroes.
You can check out the open beta for Blood of Heroes on August 26th on PC. Thank you both so much for joining me today, and remember to stick around on IGN for even more from Gamescom 2021.
That was Blood of Heroes. And if you're still undecided about it, after all that, why not play it for yourself? There's an open beta happening on PC right now. Find out more at bloodofheroes.online. And if you'd like a moment to do that, you're in luck, because Gamescom Studio needs to take a short break. Stick around.
Imagine Box Champion.
Hi there, I'm Stefan Powell and I cover games for the BBC, especially for BBC Radio 1 Newsbeat and loads of other places across the BBC as well. And my favourite Gamescom moment has to be when I got a chance to sit down and interview the heavyweight world boxing champion Anthony Joshua. There's no one else in the world really that you're going to get the most decorated boxing champion sitting down with you for half an hour to talk about his love of video games. And we got in, we talked about Destiny, which was what we was playing at the time. We talked about his love of FIFA and NBA 2K as well. And it was brilliant to see him there with all the fans interacting, chatting about video games, which is great. Also, considering he's a boxer, he's got the world's softest hands. I mean, he must moisturise because they were fantastic. And I can remember the first time I turned up at Gamescom and I was going up one of the elevators with my cameraman, Jonathan. And I can remember him turning to me just saying, turn around, have a look for a sec. And I turned behind me, and only then did I just realise the magnitude of how significant Gamescom was, how busy it was, how many people were there, because underneath us, as we got to the top of the escalator, and if you've been to Gamescom, you know exactly what I'm talking about, there was just this ocean of gamers, everybody excited to be getting their hands on new games, meeting their mates, seeing new stuff, and that for me was pretty special as well. Gamescom's definitely got a place in my heart, and I can't wait to go back one day.
The Asus ROG Zephyrus laptop won the Taiwan Excellence Award thanks to its innovative display, cutting-edge cooling system, and powerful gaming panels, perfect for pro-level esports or content creation. Let's take a closer look.
Taiwan, your partner in excellence.
Taiwanese companies like Asus have developed the ROG Zephyrus Duo 15SE GX551 that offers an innovative ROG ScreenPad Plus secondary display and a cutting-edge cooling system that empowers the latest AMD Ryzen 9 5900HX CPU and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 GPU, taking Windows 10 gaming to new dimensions. Users can choose between ultra-fast 300 Hz per 3 milliseconds or high-res 4K 120 Hz per 3 milliseconds gaming panels that lets you tailor your system for pro-level esports or content creation.
Esses são os computadores do futuro.
Taiwan, your partner in excellence.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by Pluto TV, free to watch.
TV.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
From the creators of Plan Turismo, League of Legends, and Minecraft. Released in 2020, Expansion Pack 2021, launch soon. Gamescom Forest. Not a game, but a game-changing project. Thousands of trees were donated by the best community in the world. Because we need oxygen even more than a good Wi-Fi signal. Save a bee, plant a tree. Let's grow. The Gamescom Forest.
From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered.
Cabeça de urubu.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance.
And we're back. Now, as much as I love to imagine that all of you have tuned in for our naturally charming on-camera banter, we know what's up. You're here to see cool new video games.
But on the off chance you are here to see us, you can always say something nice on social media using the hashtag Gamescom 2021, or more likely, you can say something about one of these awesome action games. Let's check out some trailers.
Tá com cara de Zelda, velho. Só que não é. Konami. Yu-Gi-Oh, quer ver? Eu não vi Yu-Gi-Oh, mano, que ia sair. Sabia? Eu era viciado no Yu-Gi-Oh, cara. Eu sempre gostei, velho. Mas só assisti a primeira temporada, aquelas das antigas. Nintendo Switch. Konami. Master Duelo. Aceita mais da hora. Olha. Dragão de olhos azuis. Mago negro. O cara só fazendo a história ali, ó. Vixe Maria, que da hora, hein, mano. Sempre, né? PS4, PS5, Xbox One, entre outros. Faz muito tempo que eu não jogo nada. Tem que voltar a jogar, mãe. Jogar Pokémon. É pra rua jogar Pokémon, caçar Pokémon. Eita, o The King aí, ó. The King of Fighters. The King aí, cara. Eu fui viciado no The King, mano. Eu pegava. Antigamente tinha umas máquinas, né? Aí eu ia lá, comprava pão, aí falava assim, dá 25 centavos ali pra mim colocar na maquininha. Aí colocava a maquininha. Hadouken, Hadouken. Tá muito louco, mano.
39 fighters get in the ring. Are you ready? Okay, come on!
Eu jogava Just Dance, mano.
Characters that
Just Dance da hora também, mano. Lá no shopping, lá tem.
Fan favorites return from the grave.
Carro que nem andou. Que nem andou.
Characters keep the unfolding events.
少しだけなら遊んであげるよ。
And heroes from all the KOF sagas return for KOF 15.
Ficou legal, ficou ruim não.
準備できたぜ。
オッケー、しんちゃん。
Ready, go! The classic 3-on-3 team battle system returns. New visuals and gameplay systems deliver a new level of speed and excitement. Shatter Strike defends against and counters enemy attacks. Max Mode unleashes your offensive potential. Max Mode Quick cancels attacks and extends your combo. Execute rush combos with simple button presses. Thrilling special moves raise the fight to even higher levels of height. The most comprehensive battle system in KOF history is here.
O gráfico ficou muito louco, mano.
Unravel the mysteries of the ongoing KOF saga in story mode. As the spotlight shines on the newly opened KOF tournament, a dormant force awakens. The fates of many intertwine as the Earth heads towards destruction. A climax beyond all expectation awaits you. Rollback netcode empowers fighters to take their skills to the next level. Choose how you want to play with a variety of battle modes. In Draft Versus mode, the battle starts from character selection. Practice your moves in training mode, available online as well. Or put your combo skills to the test in trial mode. The Gallery mode features character artwork and sound clips, as well as a special animated short by world-renowned director Masami Obari. The newly added DJ station features over 300 hit SNK songs focused on the KOF series. Put on your favorite track while you bust some heads.
Da hora, hein, mano? Tá da hora, hein, velho? Olha isso aí. Tá chocado demais.
The King of Fighters! The King of Fighters!
Muito bom, muito bom.
Releases February
PS4,
17th,
PS5, Xbox Series, Windows 10,
2022!
Steam.
The Deluxe Edition comes with a DLC pass that contains 6 future DLC characters.
Nas DLCs.
Early purchases include the DLC costume, Karo, Mark of the Wolves Terry. Additionally, digital-only
Leona
purchases
clássica
include
aí,
the DLC costume, Classic Leona.
Acho que joguei sim. Ultraman não, né? Gigabash. O jogo aí é meio bobinho, velho, isso aí. Meu Deus. Ou não, Bruno. Tô acompanhando a Gamescom aqui, velho. Os jogos que vão vir aí, mano. Perdeu o King of Fighter agora, que acabou de passar, velho. Muito louco. Gigamento. Esse Parte, mano.
You just saw a trailer for the new kaiju brawler Gigabash here on Gamescom Studio, but we're not hitting the brakes yet. If you're the type of person whose ideal vacation in Mexico involves kicking back at a beachside resort with a fruity drink and a steamy paperback romance novel, well, Forza Horizon 5 might not be your speed. But if your dream getaway involves driving a McLaren supercar up the side of a volcano trying to run over as many piñatas as possible, you're in luck. Then again, it's a constantly evolving game world, so maybe they'll add a steamy romance novel mode in the DLC. A host can dream. Anyway, get a load of these cars! Vroom vroom! Huge explosion.
Welcome back to IGN's Gamescom coverage. We are here with Mike Brown, creative director of Forza Horizon 5. I'm very excited. I hope he's excited because they get to talk about Forza Horizon 5. Mike?
Hey Luke, yes, thank you for having me. Absolutely great to be here, and as always, I'm excited to talk about Forza Horizon 5.
That's good, because that's your job. Now, obviously this isn't the first we've seen of Forza Horizon 5, and we've seen some glimpses of the game in the past. Certainly your announcement was very exciting, and we've seen some other glimpses of cars driving about in Mexico. It looks fabulous, but I feel like, for me, the snapshot of this intro drive is like the most impressed I've been so far, and that's certainly not to say that I've not been impressed so far. You could probably draw the logo on the back of a napkin and just hand it over, and they'll be like, yep, I'm in. But I feel like now, you know, it just looks so remarkable. And then I guess my first question is kind of a sort of a bigger picture question, but what do you think it is about, like, what is it about racing games that makes them so strong coming out of the gate and really being such visual powerhouses whenever new hardware comes into the equation?
I don't know if there's anything specific about racing games, but I do think that the connections we have to the auto industry do lead into it. The auto industry, like the games industry, is always pushing at the cutting edge of technology. They both blend creativity, art, engineering, technology in a way to make things that people are just going to love to spend time with and spend money on. And I think there are crossovers between the way people think about cars and driving and racing and the way people think about video games. And that push for excellence to play with the very latest technology probably crosses the lines a lot between cars, racing, and gaming. And I feel like that's perhaps a place where that probably leads to that phenomenon you see where there just tends to be a really good-looking racing game every time a new console turns up.
Let's drill down, like we touched on the opening drive itself, obviously. Let's drill down on it now, because the Forza Horizon opening drives are such a... They really help distinguish the Horizon games, I guess, against other racing games. Many of which, I love lots of racing games, obviously, but certainly a lot of them are kind of guilty of being kind of like, oh, here's the menu,
Que tinha saído lá do...
You can start, we'll sit back. But the Rising games are always kind of, they feel like they're ushering you in, they're kind of welcoming you into the game. It's like, here, come in, watch this, look at this, look what you can do. You know, you always feel at the center of attention, you know what I mean? How much, I've shown it to you in the past, I know they take a lot of work to really get right. It's admirable for something people only ever really play once. How hard are they to get right? And when you turn around to the team and say, you know what, we're going to drop 4 cars out of the plane, Furious 7 style, and they're like, yeah, okay. How hard are they to nail?
It is a really phenomenal challenge, and we, dropping cars out of planes, straight away people will say, oh, but, our world looks really good, but it looks really good from the camera just behind the car. It's not really meant to be viewed from a plane's perspective. It's like, well, I think it'd be really exciting though. So let's see how we can achieve that. The process of it is, as you touched on, we always have a really powerful opening to the game, and we break ourselves into a little bit of a jail there because it's a new game. We have to say, well, probably the best bit of gameplay we ever made was and now we need to make something that makes it, beats it in every single way. And that is a bar that we have to keep pushing higher with every single new game, and so it does force us to both creatively and think big and try and think of things we can do to just really wow people. The reason we go so big on the initial drive, I think, is it just sets up the stall. It's all the things that you do and see in the initial drive are things that you can do and see later in the game as well. Perhaps not in such an orchestrated way, but all of those things exist in the game and are experiences that you can and will have. I think that a lot of games, I think they worry too much, like you say. It's like, oh, here's the menu and here's the button to walk and here's the button to crouch. And they worry too much about players getting baffled and confused by really kind of simple concepts that players will probably be familiar with. Where I think if you just start the car already rolling, players will know that they've got to press left to turn left, press right to turn right, and we obviously build those roads such that it's fairly easy to get around. And we make sure we pick cars that are reasonably easy to handle, and maybe even do some little handling tweaks for those rough edges that we need to smooth out. I do feel that there's a respect for players in that we just start with the really exciting stuff. Let's not start with a dry or slow tutorial, but rather let's start at literally 100 miles an hour.
For instance, I'm a huge fan of Horizon 3, and it will always be a sentimental favourite. But I guess the difference between, say, the opening drive there and the opening drive here is that, whereas that one kind of blended the cars from one to another, they were overtaking one another and jumping over one another, it was all kind of in that kind of one spot. You're dropping cars all over the map in a plane, obviously, and it kind of speaks to the size of the map, that you want to give people these slices of the map and how varied it is, but you don't want an opening drive that takes 12 minutes. It's like, oh, we're going to have to drop them here. We can't have them drive all the way over here because it's going to take too long. We've got to drop them there in a plane. It says something about the size of the map. To me, is that kind of that feels deliberate.
We wanted to have an initial drive that they didn't have to sit down and say those words, but showed you those words. So we start you on the volcano, we give you an incredible vista that makes the world look huge. You're actually only looking over a part of the world there because the volcano is kind of central in the map, so it's as you drive around it, there's a kind of a 360 view. But nevertheless, you get a sense of the huge scale of the world. From starting in the volcano, you're in obviously a really volcanic, rocky area. It's in the initial drive, it's snowy and covered in slushy ice.
A irmã da Viúva Negra, ela vai pegar o lugar dela, né? Você viu que ela tinha uma parte que ela fazia um negócio, tipo, pulava assim, fazia um negócio assim, ó. Ela zoava, falava assim, aquela pose que não levar, né? Que ela foi engraçado.
Communicated the kind of scale and diversity.
E agora, pelo próximo filme aí, a Bishop vai aparecer, né?
3 further times after that and show you a ton of new stuff.
O bicho vai pegar. Porque a irmã da Viúva Negra vai atrás do... Escrevia
it's huge, it's diverse.
A irmã da Viúva Negra vai atrás do arqueiro, né? E a Bishop é a filha do arqueiro.
Cramming all that in, condensed together as much as we can at the start of the game, it really just lets people know what Horizon is about and what kind of differentiates us from other driving games.
Nice. Listen, let's talk about you've previously revealed the presence of the Mercedes AMG Project One. It appeared in the announcement, and now we've discovered it's coming, which is exciting. It's always kind of a So it's always kind of a fun thing, what's going to be on the cover of the game, and it's always one of these tip of the spear kind of deals, like it's the Centenario, you know, that's like, it's the 100th birthday of Fruccio Lamborghini, you know, or it's the Senna, which, you know, the McLaren Senna, like what a car. How did the Mercedes thing come up? Because obviously, like I look at Mercedes from the outside in, and you see them, they're popping up in Car Mechanic Simulator, and they're popping up in Mario Kart. So it feels to me like they must have a similar philosophy when it comes to an appreciation of video games. But yeah, it took to me a little bit about how the Project One thing came up and how that's appeared in the game.
Yeah, so just for clarity, the Project One we showed at E3 is technically the concept car, whereas it's the AMG One that is on the cover. There are they're very, very AMG probably won't thank me for saying they're similar cars. They're completely different cars. One was a concept car, and one is the real final car. But to answer your question, we obviously had a really good relationship with Mercedes for a long time. I think you touched on they understand the power that video games can have for them, the power that video games can bring to a brand like Mercedes to be able to get their cars looking great in front of audiences that would otherwise be difficult for them to address. Now, the AMG One is a car that costs about $2.1 million, so I don't think they're necessarily seeing it as a marketing opportunity to go and sell a £2 million hypercar on the cover of the game. But I do think they understand the profile that gives to the brand. And while they're not probably going to have that many Horizon players go and drop £2 million on the AMG One, although hopefully they do, Mercedes AMG do a ton of really awesome cars that are also in the game that I think AMG understand that if they can make, when their brand is associated with that, when their brand appears there, when we throw it out of a plane, really exciting and awesome, then it's a great avenue for them to go and speak to gamers who oftentimes will also be car lovers and can then go out and perhaps maybe purchase themselves a new Mercedes. And I think that Mercedes, as you touched on McLaren, I think there are a lot of car manufacturers that really understand the mutually beneficial nature of being in a game like Horizon.
Can you discuss a little bit about Advanced Lab and just how much more juicy that is, I guess, in comparison to Super 7, and whether you'd anticipate, and I feel like you will, because every time these sorts of things get unleashed into the world, the public and gamers start to deliver things that certainly I never thought were possible, and I've heard the refrain from developers, they put out all these UGC tools and then they get stuff back and they're like, whoa, how are they doing that? Is that even possible? And then, they're constantly surprised by people, when you throw it out to tens of millions of people. Talk to me a little bit about Events Lab.
Yeah, so in Super 7 you could place ramps and boxes and barriers and stuff. All of it was rock solid. As soon as you placed it in place, it's the ramp, but it's otherwise non-interactive. So in addition to that, you can now place like breakable and smashable assets. So if you need to slow the player down, you can put some crates and stuff across the path, and they can be smashed when they're hit. You can also, we saw the bowling pins in E3. There are a lot more assets this time around that you can place and customize. You can tweak the colours on some of them as well, so you can get a bit more creative with what your creations look like. There's just in terms of the building blocks, there is a lot more to work with this time. There's a lot more room for creativity there. That stuff, though, if you've played Super 7, it's that with a bit more. The rules of play is where it gets genuinely interesting. So this, as I mentioned today, it's based on the development tools that we use internally, that I've used a lot as a designer here. And it's not quite a full scripting language. I'd stop short of calling it that, but it's very close. You create rule sets where if this happens, then this other things happen. When trigger occurs, action should happen, and you can combine these rules in ways that are kind of limitless. There is a lot of freedom in that. And like I said, they're based on the tool sets that we use to build the modes that are in the game. There are
O 2
options
tá
that
da
we
hora,
have that
o
we've
2
not
tá da
yet
hora,
given to
só
players.
que, como eu te falei,
But
eles apresentam o pessoal todo em cima da hora.
we haven't. This isn't the end.
Tinha que apresentar
the feature that
o pessoal
players
antes de
get on
fazer
day
o
one,
filme.
won't be
de cara pra
the
quem
final form, as it were.
Tem uma
And as
sintonia
soon as
com o
players say, "Hey, it'd be
personagem,
really great
entendeu?
if we could do this," then we can just go and have that. We can just go and unlock that and throughout.
Vai fazer o quê? Descer, né?
Horizon
Descer,
5 Live
descer,
program, we're
né?
going to be listening to those creators and
A
just
Marvel não, a
responding
Marvel
and
ela já faz diferente, né?
unleashing more power to them.
Ela faz filme,
like I say,
personagem.
I'm very excited. A little bit
exemplo,
nervous because you can
faz
create
filme
basically anything with it. So there's real capacity to
E depois
create
faz filme com
modes
a
that make absolutely no sense.
Aí
and just
depois no
confuse
terceiro
everybody
filme
that
ela
goes in
junta os
there. But we
dois,
have to
entendeu?
kind of hope that the curation algorithms that run the back end of the game don't really surface that to a lot of people.
Fingers crossed. Mike, I'm terrible with dates, so refresh my memory. When does Horizon 5 come out?
Se você for analisar, tudo faz sentido,
We are
né?
sweet on the
Mas
9th
também.
of November. If you purchase the premium edition
Você
or the
sabe quando
premium
saiu
add-ons
o
bundle,
filme?
then you can get early access on the 5th of
Sabe
November.
quando sair o filme vai estar lá.
Wonderful. It's not soon
Você sabe
enough.
que aquilo ali não foge do
but I'll
filme,
take
né?
it. Mike,
A
thank
série
you
não
for
foge do
thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting Forza Horizon 5 with
Agora
me.
saiu um filme de desenho lá deles lá. eu
Yes,
tava
thank you
vendo
very much
esses
for having me.
dias.
An absolute pleasure
Não
as
curti
always.
muito, não.
And stick around because no doubt we have plenty more coverage coming up. I have no idea what it is, but I'm sure it'll be very exciting.
O filme do Falcão e o Soldado Infernal foi por semana.
That was Forza Horizon 5 right here on Gamescom Studio. Man, those cars sure are pretty, and they move quick. Speaking of which, we need you to sit pretty for another quick break. We'll be back faster than you can say, Lamborghini, Maserati, Bugatti. Stick around.
Principalmente quando é ruim. Quando é ruim aí já era.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by Pluto TV, free to watch.
Quando o filme é ruim, minha amiga, dá não. Dá não.
From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered.
Agora, se não me engano, vai sair sai o filme aí do Homem-Aranha, depois do que tá passando lá no canal na Disney. Vai ter outro lá que eu esqueci o nome.
News about Marvel, DC, Star Wars. You need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
What's up everyone, Sydney here to bring you a little update about the future of IGN on YouTube. We've been listening to your feedback and it seems like some of you are more into games while others are more interested in movies and TV. So we got to thinking about it and decided, why not both? Our main channel will still bring you all the biggest news, reviews, previews, and trailers to keep you up to speed on the most important highlights. But if you only want games content 24/7, head over to IGN Games. Movies and TV more your thing? Check out IGN Movies and TV. More channels, more of the stuff you love, more IGN.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance. It's been another big year for gaming, and Gamescom is proud to present the Gamescom Awards for 2021. Here are the nominees for Best Indie Game. Dofurmantic from Tucana Interactive. Inua from Art France. Lost in Random from Electronic Arts.
Ela também foi processar a Disney, viu?
And the winner for Best Indie Game is Lost in Random from Electronic Arts.
This exceedingly unique indie takes place in the Kingdom of Random, where the roll of a cursed black dice decides the fate of children when they reach age 12. As Even, you'll embark on an epic quest to rescue your beloved sister Odd. Gameplay takes place in a game board-shaped arena, challenging players to escape from random by repeatedly rolling their new friend Dicey in the hopes of reaching the final square on the board. It's incredibly inventive, and it's this year's winner. To accept the award, here's more from the team behind Lost in Random.
Hi, this is Olof Redmal, creative director and lead writer on Lost in Random.
Já era.
Games in Gothenburg, Sweden. Thank you so much, Gamescom, for the award. Best Indie Game 2021.
Se você assina papel, guardanapo, aquilo ali vale como prova.
Klaus Lingelet,
aqui não, aqui no Brasil é frescura danada, né? Vai chegar lá na justiça, até a justiça resolver. Minha amiga.
Nikolaus Theologu on programming, technical director Johan Verlander, our art director Victor Becker, whose soul seeps through the world of random, as well as the environment artist Leo Brynjelsson, Daniel Lindqvist. Thanks, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the game once it comes out, and take care. Love you guys.
Video games let you live out your wildest fantasies, like blowing stuff up with futuristic weaponry, or being friends with a bunch of cyborgs. Or maybe you don't want to be friends with them, maybe you just want to boss them around and tell them to blow stuff up for you with their futuristic cyborg weaponry. Either way, Synced Off Planet involves futuristic weaponry and also cyborgs. How friendly you want to be with the cyborgs is your call. Let's take a look.
Synced Off Planet aims to mix PvE and PvP into one big competitive shooter. Originally seen at Gamescom 2019, the goal is to provide a new spin on survival gameplay that adds crafting and gunplay. Joining me today is Clark Yang, the creative director behind Synced, and Kevin Short, the narrative director. Hello, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
PvP, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Action. So I think it's been a couple years since last we saw Synced Off Planet. Let's begin by sort of giving us a refresh on what this game is all about.
So Synced Off Planet is basically this game where you are in this world where everyone's become fascinated by the Morpheus chip, which is in the near future, and everyone's fascinated by the Morpheus chip, which is a brain-computer interface that connects you to all the data that you could possibly want. It's like a smartphone on steroids, but it goes bad when there's an update to it. And the Morpheus chip infects everyone, kills them, and starts taking over their bodies. The nanites that are in the Morpheus chip take over the bodies and transform these people into nanos. And the nanos take over the world by the billions, and that you are left with a pocket of survivors who are desperate to escape these nanos to the only safe place they have, which is off planet on this space station that we appropriately call the Ark. So now they're trying to get to these shuttles to get away from the nanos. You play as this you're a survivor as well, but you're a survivor with unique abilities. You are able to sync with these nanos in a way that others can't, and so you kind of become almost like the spear point who helps get these survivors to the shuttles and on the way to safety.
Wow, okay.
Eu só vendo aqui a passagem de raiva que a gente vai passar.
Yeah, I think that the cool thing that we want to bring to the players is not only the traditional PvP focused game, but I think that having the gameplay that PvE can provide will offer more tactical choices, and most importantly that in our game the PvE aspect is not only give you challenge, but at the same time it give you opportunity. What we mean by that is player can weaponize your enemy. As you see here, once you weaken the enemy, you could turn the enemy into your own nano, and the nano become your companion and fighting alongside with you and provide a huge amount of tactical choices. And that's why I think that in this game, we're talk about a companion-based shooter. This is a new subgenre in the industry, and I think that people will be able to really enjoy the new tactical gameplay.
Que não dá pra transmitir filme aqui que se dá uma.
Well, it sounds like you put a lot
Eu
of
colocaria
thought into
um
the
filme que eu
story
gostei.
and the lore and the world building. Is there any sort of campaign
Já
to play
assisti e
through?
gostei. Tem até anime aí no meio.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're working.
Ontem eu fiz uma.
There's no campaign per se.
Ontem eu tava assistindo a Gamescom.
Seasons.
E vai sair
every season
anime
you
que
will
eu
get
tinha tatuado, né?
crafted missions that you'll be
E
able
no braço.
to explore that start telling the story of what's going on in this world. And the big question I think for players that we
Aí
want to
você
encourage
começa a
them to
assistir
explore
e vê
is,
que tem tudo a ver com o que estamos vivendo agora.
Like, where
Então,
does
aí
this
você
come from? Yes, it looks like an
quer assistir
accident.
mais, né? Até
Somebody
acabar.
seemed to be behind it. And then why does
Noia
the player
viciado.
have these unique abilities? What makes all these
Noia
players different
viciado.
from the regular survivors? And so we want to feed these
E é
stories
isso aí,
out through,
não tá funcionando,
through
mano.
seasonal
Exclamação
content,
fresca.
seasonal crafted missions that you end up getting.
Só tá funcionando
in
os
this place
comandos
called
normais.
The Haven.
Exclamação
It's like
comprar
a
tal.
central hub for players. It's a
Aí tá
forward
funcionando.
base that's been, you know, it used to be a craft airship that's been converted into this forward base, and players can go there, find specialists who
Cada episódio é uma
have
história.
their own unique
Não,
personalities.
aí é
who
da
will
hora.
give them,
É da hora esse maratona.
special missions. And that's where
Tem
you
coisa
go
que é
to plan
enjoativa,
these
cara.
missions
Que nem o
and
Flash.
also get
Você
more
já assistiu o
crafted
Flash?
stuff that tells you
Aquilo ali é
story of what's
enjoativo
going on.
demais, meu. É 1000 episódios e ele tem que correr mais do que o inimigo dele. E é 500 temporadas, hein?
Definitely on Earth. So this is
Aquilo ali é
the near
chato.
future. This is
Quer ver
this
outro,
is, you know,
outro também?
after,
O Iron.
you know,
Iron.
We went from
Muito bom,
smartphones to
muito bom.
VCIs and it's all gone to hell.
Iron,
It's an
sobrenatural.
Earth that we don't want.
Muito bom também.
Can you explain a little bit more about the sync mechanic, how it works, and
Eu
what are
só
the
não
different
gostei
options
da
available
última
in terms
temporada.
of what you can sync with?
Supernatural.
So in the game, we provided 4
Só não gostei da última
type
temporada,
of
mas
sync
tirando
nano,
isso aí,
which are
meu,
cautious,
foi top demais.
suppressor, guardian, and seer. So in the game, player will be able to find
Oxi,
the core
pessoas
tip, and
desesperadas
then once you do have
atrás de
the
like nas
core
redes
tip
sociais.
at hand, you will
Aqui
be
eu também
able
tenho
to
like.
weaken the enemy and then put the data at your hand and then override the data on the enemy nano. That's the
like.
whole process of weaponizing
Se quiser,
the
dá os like
enemy
aqui,
and
ó.
then become your companion. And once you do have your
Só
companion
apareceu o
nano
negócio,
fight with
apareceu
you,
um
you
bichinho,
will
não.
be able to give a precise location for the nano to defend or civilian, or you can just target any enemies that in front of you that you know your sync nano will provide a huge help and support for your gameplay. So
Falei pro
imagine that
quer ver qual é o nome dele?
every time you play this game, you have to
Meu
think
Deus,
about which type of
Deus,
nano
assiste
really fit your
esse
style,
anime aqui, meu.
and as well
O
as your
anime é
teammates nano,
muito
right? And
top.
for example, if you have a guardian
Mas tem
that
pessoas
can
que forçam
provide a
demais no
shield
Facebook.
in front of you, then the suppressor could be a really good
Atrás de
add-on
like,
from
mano.
your teammate point of view. Then the
Ah,
suppressor
o
will
like
be
é
able
bom
to pin
porque ele
people
ajuda a
down,
divulgar,
and then
né?
you can, you know,
Canal,
have the final shot.
não sei como que é lá no Facebook, mas
Again, sync was
pelo menos
originally
aqui
seen at
no
Gamescom
YouTube é
2019.
isso.
What was the
Quanto mais
biggest
like a pessoa
feedback
tiver, ela
from
ajuda
that Gamescom 2019
né, a
reveal,
espalhar.
and what changes have you been working on since then?
Entendeu?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think that 2
Pra
years
espalhar
ago
para
when
outras
we
pessoas
revealed
que não
this
conhecem o
title,
canal.
everyone is very
Agora lá
excited
no
about this
Facebook
idea
deve ser a
of
mesma
sync,
coisa, né?
especially that you control
Não dá muita
the
coisa,
enemy and then fight alongside with you.
Sei
This
lá,
is
eu
the
não
highlight
manjo não
for
da
the show.
plataforma do Facebook.
However,
não.
there are also other things that we
Sei
should
que o pessoal tá
deeper
falando
and then
muito bem.
provide even
Sim,
more
aqui é
options
difícil.
and more meaningful content. So, we've been working on for the last 2 years, and as well as the nano design.
Não tem que fazer nada, cara. Tá assistindo, pô.
It's a very hard choice to design a nano with the way it is right now. Gave us
Ah, não, foi o Cauã não, cara. Filha, mano.
all the enemies
Caçar o
are based
marido,
on
ele
the
vai. Deixa eu dar assistir o
nanotechnology, and then,
negócio.
you know,
Já é difícil, porque tá em
nanotechnology
inglês.
gave us a lot of possibilities of creating different type and abilities
Aqui é
in the gameplay,
diferente.
and then later on the live.
Eu acho que cada plataforma é diferente.
Gameplay-wise, it kind of gives me a vibe of a mix between PUBG and Escape from Tarkov. How does a typical
Cada
game play
plataforma
out,
deve
assuming
ser
you win a match?
diferente mesmo.
Yeah, so in the game there will be 3 main modes. The first one we call it
esse Off
Off-Planet.
Planet, não.
It's a very traditional and classic game mode that you know
Eu sou
all
mó
players
força
working with
sim.
their teammate and fight for the single shuttle escape Earth.
The shuttle.
And so in that mode there's no respawn, and you know, you have to rely on your tactical choice and all the challenges in the game. The second mode is a
Não tá
score-based
funcionando,
mode
cara.
that-
Deixa sem
and there will be
cabeção.
3 rounds of shuttle coming in. The first round we are only having 3. And the second round will
Tenta
be 2, and the
exclamação
final
pra
round will be
gafanho,
only
mas
1.
eu também acho que não tá
The
funcionando
twist
não.
here is that in this mode, people could respawn, can redeploy new survivors into the battleground. And so it's not that if you die, that's it. No, you have more choices to play in that mode, as well as we crafted a lot of random events in the game that will always help players to gather new stuff and find a edge, compared to the components. The last mode, what we're seeing, is a PvE focused mode called the Nano Rise. In this game, we're trying to bring in some roguelite elements in the gameplay, and the challenge is really high. And how to work with nano in this environment is crucial. And there will be more different type of enemy nano in there. And people's goal, players' goal is just to beat the level and try to reach the boss fight and then kill the boss. And every mode we're having provides totally different feeling and web. And I think that it's not simply a battle royale type of game, or it's not simply a hardcore type of gameplay. So we're trying to have our strengths and works across all the modes that can give player the best experience possible.
O virtual is a magic word for me. I love myself a good roguelike.
Como se nada tivesse ocorrido.
I see a lot of gunplay.
Esquece o seu dia a dia normal
de
viver, entendeu?
Yeah, we wanna just lower the bar for understanding the weapon system in our game. So most of the weapon will be based on the very similar type that people already saw in other type of shooter games. Like the SMG, LMG, assault rifle, all that. And however, we did a lot of very fine tuning of each weapon. So we want every weapon to feel different and have different circumstances and scenarios to use. And most importantly is how to use the different weapon type along with your nano. Another example here is the sniper guy, have a very long-range sniper. The best sync nano to use is seer. Because the seer can scan the battleground and then mark the enemy for you, even you don't physically see them yet. Then, in this case, imagine that you're really somewhere, and then your seer provides the information on the battleground, and you can be the sharpshooter that can really maximize the offense. And another example is using Crusher. Crusher is really built for destruction and always push the enemy out of the place. So it's the best tactic to flank the enemy and back behind it. And then if you have a shotgun, then it's a very effective tactic.
Hoje está tão fácil a tecnologia.
Very cool. Well, have you revealed
E você liga para a pessoa e fala da pessoa aqui, ó.
We're aiming to have the game into early access next year, and we'll be focused on PC first. And most important for us is really have the community build while we are developing the game, and listen to what people like and what they don't like, and refine the game along the way. And of course, console is another thing we're looking into, and we're gonna do our best to bring the best gameplay experience possible to the players all over the world.
Very cool. The game's looking very exciting. Thank you so much for stopping by the Gamescom studio. We are going to take a quick break, but be sure to stay tuned as we'll be back with more interviews and even more gaming coverage right here on IGN Live at Gamescom 2021.
Futuras idas. Spider-Man versus Green Goblin.
My name's Rory Powers, and I work at RKG, but I used to work at IGN as a video producer. Now, my favorite Gamescom memory has to be from 2015. I was on the show floor shooting a bunch of amazing cosplay in the convention halls, and we were halfway through filming this Spider-Man cosplayer when, out of the corner of my eyes, I see this figure.
Já vai vir treinado, né, cara?
So I pan the camera over, and there is someone cosplaying as the Green Goblin. Now, these two cosplayers had never met each other before, but what ensued was the most incredible improvised cosplay fight scene you have ever witnessed. Only at Gamescom is that possible.
Gamescom.
Founded in 2018, Game Bonfire is the leading Chinese gaming outlet dedicated to bringing up-to-the-minute news to Chinese gamers all around the world. Let's find out how.
Olha o PlayStation 5 aí.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系。 源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来 ，Gobo 营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载 Gobo 营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
The first trailer for Marvel's Midnight Suns, the new tactical RPG from Firaxis, the studio who brought us XCOM Enemy Unknown, just dropped. And based off of the game's title and the trailer, Marvel's Midnight Suns is set in the darker side of the Marvel Universe, looking to put you face to face against demonic forces of the underworld as you team up and live among the Midnight Suns, Earth's last line of defense. Presented by Marvel's Midnight Suns. Joining me today is creative director at Firaxis, Jake Solomon, who will hopefully get me up to speed on when and where in the vast Marvel universe this takes place, what's at stake, and most importantly, who is involved. Jake, set the stage for us. What is happening in this game? Does Midnight Suns exist in the same universe as any other part of Marvel? Just give me the whole spiel. What's going on?
The Marvel universe is amazing, obviously. It's been a dream to work there, but the challenge is, as you can imagine, and as you kind of alluded to, finding your own corner of that universe. And so for us, we drifted to the darker side of Marvel, the supernatural side of Marvel. So the stakes in this game are all about the supernatural, and this features one of my favorite comic book runs, which comes from the very early 90s, The Rise of the Midnight Suns, which is set in that sort of very dark supernatural part of the Marvel universe. So that's kind of exciting for us, is that we're going to be telling a story that people haven't heard for a very long time, with characters that are probably new to a lot of players.
So you've got the better part of a century worth of Marvel lore to pull from. What titles and runs did you look to most for inspiration?
Obviously, we feature both like really, really popular characters that a lot of players are going to know. So you've got your characters like Iron Man and Captain America and Captain Marvel and Wolverine. But we also really wanted to feature characters that, for us, we wanted to introduce players to them. And so, one of the very first comic book events that I ever read was called Inferno. This was the late 80s. Again, another like classic supernatural story in the Marvel Universe. And that featured this character named Magic. And she's this awesome, powerful new mutant who grew up in this hell dimension called Limbo, and so that features very heavily. Also, I think that The Runaways is one of the best books in Marvel history. So we have Nico from The Runaways as well, and so that's, again, another character that some players may not know, and that's what we're excited about, as well as Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Do people not know who Blade is? Is that possible? I mean, am I that old? But I don't know. Is Blade like a deep cut at this point?
Everybody knows Blade. He's the guy who said the thing about ice skating uphill. He's right. A classic.
Yes, that's right, which I won't repeat here.
No, this is a family place. Now, speaking of which, can you tell us a little bit about what it's been like working with Marvel Games and sort of how, Firaxis and Marvel got together and what that relationship has been like?
Working with Marvel is a dream, but it's just not something I'd ever considered. And what happened was that Marvel actually reached out to us because a number of their games team were fans of XCOM. The very first call I had with the Marvel Games team, one of their executive vice presidents of Marvel was on the call, and he had very specific feedback for me about the finale of the XCOM mission, and then a bunch of other people chimed in, and they had all this their different experiences they wanted to share, and so that was really exciting for me because that meant they knew what kind of games that we make. And so we thought if we can combine our gameplay experience with the narrative of all these characters and their stories that millions of people around the world love, then it's a match made in heaven.
Midnight Suns has the first customizable original character in the form of Hunter. Can you tell us a little bit about who we are playing as and how they fit into the Marvel Universe?
It was key for us to tell a new story. We wanted to go to a place that we think a lot of players haven't seen before in the Marvel Universe. And a big part of that for us was not telling a story about any particular character. You're not Iron Man in this game, you're not Blade, you can control those characters. But instead, we wanted you to put yourself into the game, and we did that by creating the Hunter, which is an all-new superhero that we designed with Marvel, which is completely customizable in terms of how they look, in terms of how they play, which lets the player feel like they're in the story and lets them feel like they're experiencing this kind of firsthand. And so they are the child of this ultimate evil named Lilith, the mother of demons. They're an old character, but for a lot of players it's going to be new. And so we have this relationship between this ultimate evil and the hunter, which is this new hero we've created, which lets the player feel like they're in the story themselves.
Was there a specific character in Midnight Suns who you can talk about right now, aside from Blade, who you're most excited to sort of flesh out in your own space?
The thing that we're excited about is there's two fantasies, I think, if you're a fan of Marvel. You love to fight alongside the heroes, and a lot of games have done that really well. But from the very beginning, we were more excited about this fantasy of, well, what's it like to live alongside the heroes? When you read the comics, when you watch the movies, I think that that's as exciting to see how they interact with each other, how you could interact with them, choosing who you want to build relationships with. We have this really large cast of characters, 12 heroes in addition to the hunter. So the player has to make choices about, okay, which hero do I build a relationship with? And of course you get all kinds of gameplay benefits and cosmetic benefits. But it's really very narrative where you say, okay, I'm going to be best friends with these characters. And so for me, I really like magic. I think that the way that we're doing some characters like Doctor Strange is very exciting, you know, and so it'll be up to different players, like what characters you love that you know, and then you get drawn into these new characters that we're introducing, like Robbie Reyes, the new Ghost Rider, Nico, magic, that I think it's just fun. Every time you play, you know, you kind of find yourself drawn to different characters for different reasons.
Awesome. So whether you're a fan of the comics or the fan of the movies, this is a new, you know, untested territory entirely, and there's some surprises waiting in store. Now, you mentioned Runaways, you mentioned Inferno. Are there any other Marvel comics that fans should maybe read to get up to speed with Midnight Suns?
Well, there is the original run. I mean, it is, when you get in there, it's dark and it is heavy and it is all 90s. The original run, you know, 1991, which Max, you were a child for. I'm not even sure you were born then. There was lots of flowing hair. You know, there were lots of motorcycles. So I would recommend, if you really want to learn about this, then read that original Spirits of Vengeance run in Ghost Rider and the Rise of the Midnight Suns. See, I've even got it here. I have mine are like boarded and packed, but yes, we have the classic Spirits of Vengeance Ghost Rider run from 1991. So if you're really deep, you can go into that one. But I'm just saying, you know, beware. There's some dark, weird stuff in there.
Awesome. That's music to my ears. Jake, thank you so much for joining me. Marvel's Midnight Suns is scheduled to release in March 2022 across PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Till then, make mine Marvel, and for all things Marvel, be it games, comics, movies, and so on, you are already in the right place. IGN. Enough said.
For over 3 years, fans of zombies, parkour, apocalyptic dystopias, and games where your decisions have real consequences have been, if you'll forgive the pun, dying to get their hands on Dying Light 2. Finally on track for a holiday release, and to hold you over until then, here is a full breakdown with tons of brand new info. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Timon Smektawa and I'm the lead game designer at Techland. Welcome to the Gamescom edition of Dying to Know. You can watch the previous episodes of the show on our YouTube channel. They reveal many details about the game and showcase unique gameplay videos, so if you still haven't seen them, you know what to do. Last time we showed you the monsters, our special infected enemies, so today let's talk about how to fight them. And not only them, but also the other big threats you will encounter in the world of Dying Light 2, which are us, humans. Unfortunately, humans tend to be the most cruel and brutal species out there, especially during an apocalypse. Before we talk about fighting, let's start with the basics. How do you move around the city? If you watched our previous episodes, you know that a large portion of the city's population has changed into monsters, roaming the streets. That's why it's extremely difficult to move around, unless you can run, climb, roll, swing and jump, as the best option to explore the world of Dying Light 2 is parkour. Let's talk about it with my first guest, Kacper Kowalczuk, senior game programmer. Kasper, you are in a team directly responsible for creating parkour movement in Dying Light 2. So, what can you tell the Gamescom viewers about it?
Well, we're really excited for the players to see what we've prepared for them. They will finally feel this amazing freedom of movement in a city built to support parkour from the ground up. Even the highest building is not an obstacle anymore, but a parkour tool to help you get higher. Even those familiar with Dying Light 1 will be pleasantly surprised, because we took all that we learned from parkour in DL1 and built everything from scratch. It's a more challenging way than to simply upgrade it, but it's more rewarding as well.
Okay, but from my perspective, and I think your perspective as well, creating a realistic movement in an FPP game is very, very difficult. And we have spent a lot of time and resources to make it physical and exciting at the same time. So, how do you feel about it, Kasper?
We really wanted to improve players' perception of their avatar's body and of what happens to it during parkour. The animators had their hands full, but it definitely makes you feel like a real traceur, which is a person who professionally does parkour. It's all thanks to dozens or even hundreds of new animations. It's especially visible with ropes, pipelines, monkey bars, etc. With the increased number of animations, players can almost physically feel each movement while climbing buildings. It gives them a realistic parkour experience and is also surprisingly simple to master, even for beginners. The city allows players to traverse it effectively as soon as they get there, and their mobility increases more as they learn new skills. There comes a time when players start noticing synergies between movements, and that's when the real fun begins. You literally feel like flowing through the environment. They also find out that the city itself helps them with parkouring, and what might have seemed an obstacle at the beginning becomes an asset once they learn how to use it.
Okay, but parkour can be more than just a way to traverse the city. In Dying Light 2, it's quite handy in combat too.
Yes. For example, I could stun my opponent with a powerful blow, then use elements of parkour to rebound from him and kick another one. He's also stunned now, so I can rebound from him too. By combining parkour and combat, a skillful player can wreak havoc on both humans and the infected without even touching the ground.
Well, that sounds amazing. So, Kasper, thank you for joining us, and thank you for explaining us how the game's parkour system works. And I believe you, the same as I, just can't wait for people to see it in action themselves.
Definitely.
So thank you once again. Take care. So let's talk more about how you can use parkour not only for traversal, but also for combat. And speaking of combat, my next guest is Matt Courtois, lead technical gameplay animator. Matt, ça va?
Ça va, merci.
Thanks for joining us. I would like to start with something that was quite difficult for us, if you remember, at the very beginning of the project. How to present melee combat in first-person perspective.
Oh, I remember. You actually just said, creating satisfying melee combat from a first-person perspective, that's a real challenge. That's why we spent many volumes iterating it, improving it, until we got the right feeling. We feel we have created something special, and we're very excited to discover how players will react to it.
So, what do you think will excite them the most?
I guess, you know, we've worked very hard for our combat to be visceral. So we created many exciting and immersive elements, such as what we call progressive hit reactions. So it's basically consecutive hits on enemies will enhance their reactions. They will react differently based on the weapon category you're using, based on the body parts you're targeting. So you can stun them, you can trip them over, you can cut off their limbs, which might sound pretty terrible.
But it's also cool, right?
And it's also very useful and you know, glory. The direction of your swings also matters, and so does your position relative to theirs. We worked also with the professional stuntmen to record more special, more spectacular hit reactions. That was mostly for parkour combat, but also, generally speaking, to highlight players' power and to convey as much satisfaction as possible.
And I think it's safe to say that immersion is very important in the world of Dying Light 2. It's post-apocalypse, so it's very brutal and very demanding. So to survive, you really need to step up your game. So I don't know, maybe you have some tips for the players, maybe you think there's something they should focus on?
My best advice would be to be creative in combat. So like you just mentioned with Casper, in Dying Light 2, parkour and combat are very connected. They're even intertwined, right? Allowing players to combine one with the other very easily, very smoothly. So technically, you can use the environment in combat, of course, as in kicking an enemy right after a wall run, or even end, you can use the enemy to get somewhere you like. So you would just vault over them, trigger a double jump to get higher, maybe somewhere you had trouble reaching before. But if you want, you can also just land back down, trigger a very powerful attack. It's completely up to you. Your options are almost endless. That's what we call creative combat. And to me, that would be the best weapon.
Okay, so that's an awesome hint, and thank you for that, and thank you for sharing all of the details, and thank you for joining us. We have used over 3,000 animations of jumps, grips, and other parkour moves to create a few dozen skills that can be mixed and combined.
Não, mas
so
eu expliquei pra ele. Eu traduzi perfeitamente. O cara tava me xingando. Eu li que ele tava me xingando. Dei risada.
First, today on techlandgg.com we have another gift for you.
E Daniel! Beleza, Daniel? Seja bem-vindo. Tenha boa tarde. Você tá, Dani Rex?
We have a unique item. The brilliant hammer, a weapon from Dying Light 2, which you can use in Dying Light 1. Go to techlandgg and grab it.
Eu sou bem retardado da cabeça, mas
você
deve saber, né, mano?
If you don't feel like fighting right now, you can get some free posters, wallpapers, or even Aiden's special outfit. As you can see, it's worth to visit techlandgg.com, but not at this very moment, because now it's time to watch our new gameplay trailer. Here it is.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this.
Esse é o filme do parkour lá, tá? Parkour.
Their ambitions.
Porra, não quer sair, cara.
Now it's all gone. The virus started.
É o jogo,
It was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. Soon, one vision broke into many different ones.
Eita peixe!
Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Lit a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Oh, fuck. Hey! Still some rats here.
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
Olha eu no meio do Congo. Vixe. Cortou. É parkour mesmo, ó. Como que o cara consegue pular daqui? Ah, não, tá.
How about this series?
Da hora, da hora. Curti.
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
The trailer presented quite a few new tools of destruction that you will soon get to use in Dying Light 2. So now, let's talk with the people that are actually making them. Marek Musiał, lead 3D weapon artist, and Szymon Strauss, the producer of the weapons team. Hello. The first question, maybe to Marek, is, Marek, can you explain how we as a team have approached the process of creating weapons of Dying Light 2?
Yes, we wanted the weapons to be credible. It's been a long time since the apocalypse and everything of value has already been looted. There aren't any stores to buy a new weapon, so you need to build your equipment from what you find. That's why we had to design dozens of unique weapons practically from scratch.
And actually, that was our design pillar, the modern Dark Ages.
Absolutely. Modern Dark Ages is this concept of fallen civilization that moved back people nearly to the Middle Ages. So there are no laws, no rules, no technologies. That's why our weapons, we try to create them in a most deadly and violent way.
And working with that concept, where did you get the inspiration from?
Well, citizens of Villedor, they could only use stuff they found in the world. So we thought we should do exactly the same. We scavenge. So mostly we've been looking for our inspiration in stores selling agricultural, construction, military tools.
But also at places like junkyards.
Actually, that's true. So right now we've got nearly 200 of them in game. And even though some of them may look very simple, we've got also quite the opposite, like, I don't know, semi-automatic crossbow.
I will love this one.
And our weapons are very diverse visually. Each one has a unique design and history. Just by looking at the weapon, you can tell where the maker found the parts. At a military base, a museum, a repair garage.
Exactly. It's exactly like that in the game. When you pick the weapon, you instantly realize if it was cobbled together in a street or maybe made by factions where they have access to welding and steel cutting equipment.
Yeah, and don't forget about the mods. Because in Dying Light 2 Stay Human world, if you want to beat your opponent with highly effective weapon, first of all, you need to find a basic version of that weapon and then slowly build it up. That's what we call modding. We've got many types of mods, like defensive ones, let's say improving quality of your handle, or offensive ones, like improving the tip or the blade itself. So I don't think that right now we would have time to talk in details about that. But in December, you'll all be able to add an effect to your favorite weapons, such as fire, freeze, electricity.
Shimon, let's stop here. Let's leave something for the players to discover. So let's end here. And guys, thank you for joining me. Before I talk with my last guests, I would like to invite you to participate in our UGC contest. Especially you, Gamescom viewers, we are waiting for your submissions. And if you are thinking about competing in the cosplay category, you will want to hear this one. Let me present to you the grand jury that will be choosing the best cosplays of the Dying Light 2 characters. Welcome, Irina Meyer, Lightning Cosplay, Narga and Aoki, and Enginite. And of course, fingers crossed for you, our community. Let the best cosplay win. Check our website for more details. My last guests will explain how the city itself affects combat and movement. Michał Dudziak, game designer, hello, and Adam Michałowski, senior game programmer.
Hi, Timon.
Gentlemen, there's this saying that when you really want to achieve something, the whole world aligns to help you. And basically, that's what is happening in Dying Light 2 Stay Human.
Exactly. Based on the player choices, the world is literally changing and helping you to achieve your goals in combat or exploration. For example, the gameplay will be totally different, depending on which factions you support, the survivors or the peacekeepers.
Okay, but can you give us more detail?
The differences between the factions define how each group can help us. For example, the survivors keep to the roofs and trying to avoid the danger on the ground. For building, they use mostly light materials like wood or scraps, and they can provide you a various amount of parkour helpers, such as amortizers, trampoline, or ziplines. This can change the way how we parkour through the city. On the other hand, we have peacekeepers, the post-military guys who literally keep their feet on the ground. And for building, they use totally different materials. heavy objects, metal, or even in explosives. And this can give you a new combat opportunities like car bombs, heavy traps, or even new type of a ranged weapon.
Yeah, and what's important
is that we don't need to remain loyal to just one faction. The city is divided into several zones, and in each of them, the players can decide with whom they want to side. So while progressing through the storyline, you're able to shape the world to fit your vision and needs.
Okay, but we know already that humans are active during the day and monsters come out during the night. But let's reveal more. What are the other differences?
Well, monsters attack mostly in groups, and they instinctively take advantage of the numbers. So, to defend yourself, you have to keep your head on a swivel. Monsters don't use special tactics, but it doesn't mean they are easy. They push forward, so you have to be clever to avoid getting cornered. And to win, you have to stay active, move a lot, and learn to abuse their unique weaknesses. And explosive traps might come in handy.
Yeah. Okay, and what about humans?
They use increasingly more complex behaviors. As the game progresses, defeating human enemies and monsters will become more and more challenging. But unlike monsters, people cooperate. So while fighting them, we need to closely observe not only individuals, but also the whole group. And of course, there are many more unique subtleties to both humans and monsters, but I think we should let the players discover them on their own.
Well, okay, that's a good idea, but all of that sounds very juicy, so let's end here. Guys, thank you for joining me.
Sebastião, tem que for peito, cara, era uma bomba.
Pelo menos explodiu na cara. You learned a lot about parkour and combat in Dying Light 2. We showed you that parkour is not just a tool for exploration, but also an important element of combat. You discovered some of the weapons that you will soon get to wield, and you saw how choosing a faction may support your parkour and combat skills. Before we end this episode, we have one more special announcement for you. Dying Light 1 is coming to Nintendo Switch. So yes, it's official now. Soon, you will be able to play the ultimate open world zombie game on a new platform. And we know that a lot of you are playing Dying Light. In June alone, the game was played by close to 2 million gamers. Big thanks to our community. You're awesome. Dying Light 1 for Nintendo Switch will be released in Platinum Edition. This is the most content-packed edition we have ever released. On a single playthrough, it contains over 100 hours of gameplay, not mentioning the time you can spend exploring the world with your friends in co-op mode. More details are coming soon. If you are hungry for more and you want to support us, why don't you pre-order the game to explore it on your own in just a few months? That's all for today. Thank you, Gamescom, and see you in the next episodes of Dying to Know.
Vamos testar comando, vamos testar isso, vamos testar aquilo, eu não quero nem saber, velho. Vou puxar tudo que é tudo.
We need to take a super short break, but you definitely don't want to go anywhere because coming up next is Awesome Indies, a celebration of some of the coolest, weirdest, and most ambitious new games from independent developers. Stick around.
Próximo ano você vai pro FIFA? Ah, mano, tá muito cedo eu falar que eu vou pro FIFA, cara. Eu tô sendo
From the legendary studio that changed strategy and tactics games forever comes Marvel's Midnight Suns, a new tactical RPG set in the darker side of the Marvel universe where you'll get to team up with and live among Marvel legends as the Hunter, an all-new original hero brought back to life to fight demons from the underworld. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Essa porra não é PES, se fosse PES, você tava fudido. Bom, pra quem não viu o trailer da Marvel aí, ficou top, mano, ficou ruim não. Não gosto de FIFA, mas vai ser o jeito. Rapaz, vai sair o novo lá, o novo futebol. Você viu o novo futebol, mano? Ficou da hora, ô Sebastião? Eu curti demais, mano. Salve, Lucas! Cabeça de Girimum. Já vai preparando aí os controles. Vai jogar o eFootball, viu, Lucas? Futebol, a sensação do momento. Se vir vai ser melhor que o PES. Eu acho que vai bater no PES no FIFA. Se vir mesmo. trailer da hora, né, velho? É só o trailer, só aí você vai jogar eu abaixo. Ó. Deverinho. Bacana, mano. Liga da Justiça Assimável? É o novo jogo deles aí, cara. Vai ser lançado. Você vê? Pela descar, mano. Macho, eu tô com um Xbox Series. Mas tô querendo pegar o PS5. Deixa de ser besta, mas só não tá bom. Ó o Blade aí, ó. Só não tá bom, fica querendo os dois. Quem quer muito tem ninguém. Olha que da hora. Pega Rex. Top demais, velho. Você é louco. Pega Rex. Ai, caraca.
Independent studios are like the research and
Quem quer saber de futebol aqui, Lucas? Deixa de ser besta. Eu quero lá saber de porra de futebol. Futebol hoje já me decepcionou muito já hoje. Mas vai ser de graça sim, mano. Que fala tudo que é de graça não presta, né, Sebastião? Isso aí não é de hoje, é da época da minha avó. Minha avó falava assim, tudo que é de graça não presta.
I don't even know what. That's what's so exciting. So stay tuned for exclusive
trailers, breakdowns,
and all the indie we can muster
at an epic mini-speech day with your host Mike. The Gamescom Awesome Indies showcase starts right now. Cabestivo. Você é louco. Opa. Ah, você é louco. Com certeza, mano. Perdeu muito, mano. Muito. Chega a ser triste, mano. A gente faz conteúdo, vê aquilo ali. Essa DLC vai ser paga. Que filme é esse aí? As melhores DLC, né, Sebastião? Porque Co-op vai ser pago. Master Liga vai ser pago. As melhores vão ser pagas. É difícil, né, mano? Sim, mas a Konami foi muito da esperta, ela foi besta, não. Deixou o jogo de graça só pra gente comprar as DLC. O meu medo, sabe o que é, ô Sebastião? Vou te falar, a real, mano. Meu medo é os caras colocar lá um sapato que tem 10 de chute, 5 de accuracy e 3 de passe longo, tá ligado? Um exemplo. Custar 20 conto, meu medo é isso aí, porque imagina, aí você vai ter que montar um time todinho com roupa, tudo, aí fudeu. Fudeu. Words of Event. Meu medo é isso aí. Já pensou, mano, você tem que montar um time completo com estrelas, que já é caro. E essa fumaça aí, ó. Tô fumando não, viu? Que vocês estão conhecendo. Tô fumando não, essa porra vai cair no meu pé, caralho. Fica pra lá, fica pra lá, fica pra lá. Para de ficar fitando as coisas que não deve, vem. 2023. Ixi, vai sair daqui a 2 anos. Tem 17.
Oh, hi there. Michael Swain here on behalf of IGN and Gamescom's Awesome Indies.
Então, o ruim vai ser isso, né?
I'm standing here on
Porque vamos supor, saiu uma roupinha nova ali. A roupinha nova tem 3 de chute, 4 de passe longo, 5 de
Not
de
exactly
defesa.
sure. Pretty
Tá
ambiguous
ligado?
from the trailer, but definitely some cool
Tá com
mythological
30
narratives,
pontos.
cool animation style.
Vai foder o
Super
peão.
excited for the demons that
Meu
this
medo é
woman
isso aí,
defeats. I
cara.
don't know, we're fired up. Yeah.
How do you think the game ends if you had to take a
Espero
wild
que
guess?
não seja isso. Mas meu medo é
I
isso.
feel like that badass woman beats that demon up, something like that. It kills the monster.
You know what? Close enough. Let's get out of here. Welcome to our beach day and welcome to Awesome Indies. We decided on Venice Beach because it's known for attracting
Porque se vir
different
isso aí,
vibes
ô
all over
Sebastião,
the
vai ficar uma
world.
porcaria,
And that's
mano.
exactly what indie gaming is all
Vai ser uma
about.
porcaria,
Remember,
velho.
you can dive even deeper into
Aí você
many
vai
of
ver
our
ele
feature
gastando no
games at
jogo,
the
viu?
Indie Arena booth.
Num jogo
Check
que é
that out
free.
over at now.gamescom.global.
Free só o nome, rapaz.
Now, let's get wet. Yes, as surely as the waves crash into the shore, Gamescom has returned yet again for 2021 with tons of exciting reveals, announcements, developer interviews, and trailers aplenty. To catch up on anything you missed, make sure to head to now.gamescom.global, where you can even join the community in an epic, real prizes-winning quest to keep gaming from being plunged back into the dark ages over at now.gamescom.global/epics with an X. To stay abreast of everything coming up, check out a full Gamescom schedule over at IGN. Now, speaking of oceans, our next indie game is a serene sailing title and the follow-up to 2018's hit, Far Lone Sails. Let's check it out!
Exclusivo.
Hi, I'm Don Schmocke, co-founder of Locomotive, and today at Awesome Indies with IGN, we'll be exploring the gameplay design of Far Changing Tides, the next adventure in the Far universe. While most of the game takes place on the ship, you need to get your feet
Mano,
wet
eu tô
at
muito
once.
arrependido que gastei muito
Today we're
dinheiro
looking
pra
at how the
nada
furnace and
nesse
engine
não,
play key
você
part
não
in
fica
your
arrependido
exploration.
não, cara. Porque eu vou te falar porque, mano, se você jogou, gostou, velho, e curtiu, jogou muito tempo, mano, então valeu a pena, porque isso aí fez parte da sua diversão, mano. Entendeu? Então você não tem
Gameplay
que
is
ficar
built around
chateado.
learning new skills and abilities of the vessel, but the player will first get introduced to them in a puzzle area, something our fans will instantly recognize. We designed these puzzles to become gradually more complex over time, with new features and steps to completion as
Nem
you
eu na
unlock
época que eu
later
jogava
and bigger
FIFA,
upgrades.
que vi pro PES no 2019, né? Se fosse que nem eu quando jogava FIFA, aí sim você poderia ficar arrependido. Eu cheguei a gastar o dinheiro de uma moto, cara. De uma moto lá no FIFA lá, velho. Parei de jogar PES com 2.340 pontos.
In Lone Sails, we brought players outside of the land vehicle.
Parei o
locomotive
quê? Como é
on
que
a
é?
few occasions.
Parou de jogar PES com
With changing
2.340
tides, we build a
pontos.
more complex, much larger
Você já
ship
está
with
jogando
new
comigo falando
features
que era
and
você,
wanted
velho?
puzzles to reflect that, while also
Ladrão.
teaching players the skills they need.
Pilantrão, safado. Gostei do jogo, mas com o time que eu tenho, até agora eu tô pra
When
trás.
designing our puzzles, we always ask,
Ah, tá.
what do we want
Não,
the
mas é
players
só
to
treinar,
experience, and what do they have to learn?
É assim,
How can they have
demora
strong
um pouco pra
connection and
você
dependency to the ship abilities?
pegar o esquema do jogo, mano. Mas quando você pega,
In
filho,
this
já
area,
era.
the furnace gets introduced, which is one of the more complex
Ele sabe
features
que
in
o-
the game, so we
Deixa
have to teach
sério,
each mechanic
salve,
separately
nada
until
de
they
futebol
finally come
22.
together in the train.
Nem do 23, José. O negócio tá feio. Então, Sebastião, quando você pega o esquema, mano, tá ligado? O jogo aí já era, você embala. Mas eu treino muito. Sim, sim. Vai tá faltando alguma coisinha aí. Alguma coisinha. Pode ser coisa pouca, mano. Mas dá pra melhorar muito a gameplay ali, pô. Só mostrou que trailer. Que trailer do eFootball? O trailer é uma bosta, pô. Eu quero ver a jogabilidade, o bagulho é jogabilidade. Porque não dava nem pra ver lá o José, não dava nem pra ver o que tava escrito na letra lá, pô, no começo do trailer. Sabe fazer gols. Tem que fazer gol, né, mano? Mas às vezes também não dá não, mano. Às vezes você sente que o jogo tá puxando. Entendeu? O PES 21 é assim, cara. Você tá jogando de boa, mas às vezes você sente que o jogo tá puxando pra
puzzle areas to feel important to the foreground. So we also tease parts of the story for players to learn and to find little secrets.
Então, falaram que agora no final do PES tá cheio de gaioleiro, né, mano?
This is just a small piece of a much larger experience. A whole new part of the Far universe.
Mas sabe que esses caras que gaiolam, ou Sebastião, vou te falar uma coisa. Os caras nunca vão aprender a jogar não, velho. Nunca vai aprender, porque os caras tem que perder indo pra cima, jogando pra cima, mano. Não perder ficar tocando bola pra goleiro lá atrás, não. Esse cara aí nunca vai ter futuro no jogo, não. Ele só mostra o que ele é realmente, no dia a dia dele.
Where there's people, there's crime. Crime makes people lose their nerve. But all it takes is a couple tricks. Having your back against a wall, call Lottie. When things heat up, she keeps it cool. If there's any way around, she'll find it. I want to dot the I's and cross the T's in one swift motion.
Foi por isso que eu parei de jogar, cheio de gaioleiros. Quando você estiver perdendo, eu continuo indo pra cima. Tá certo, não tá errado não. É isso que te ensina, cara. Cada vez mais melhorar, tá ligado? Na gameplay. Eu tava falando pra vocês aí, ó. Eu comecei a jogar, filho. Do incrível FIFA me lasquei.
A bit eccentric, I admit. But it's damn effective. You can get a little unhinged.
E foi aprender a jogar depois de um ano.
It used to be. We licked him in the shape.
E eu só fui aprender a jogar depois que eu tava vendo os caras aí aprendendo, jogando, né? No 2020 ainda não jogava direito. Até a metade de 2020. Jogava bem ainda não. Aí depois já era. Foi tanto treinar. Quando eu tinha que fazer esse gaioleiro perder o jogo. Concordo, a máquina tinha que ficar burra, tá ligado? FIFA e PES mais os dois, eu não jogo nunca mais FIFA. Não vou falar nunca mais porque posso voltar a jogar. Mas espero que mano, eu tô jogando muito comparado lá. Aí, tá vendo? Isso aí, pô. Aos poucos você vai desenvolvendo, né? Quando for ver, você já tá em outro patamar.
She operates high-tech stuff I can barely comprehend. All in all, maybe she is a viper. That's what I do. I clean up murder scenes. Whatever the mess you make, I've seen it before. Crime makes people lose their nerve. Unnerved people do stupid things. Stupid things get them in trouble. That's where I come in. There are a few rules to make it in this line of work. Move without sound. Clean without emotion. Disappear without a trace.
Essa galera top.
Face yourself. Dance off begins.
É, então, os caras é gente boa demais, mano.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Eu quando
It's really that simple.
Comecei a jogar mais ou menos.
I'm Bob Leader. I sell problems.
Acabei conhecendo um pessoalzinho. Pessoal, gente boa, mano. Esse pessoal mesmo que você falou tudo aí. Muito gente boa. Eu no PES Online eu era ruim pra caralho. Hoje em dia eu consigo chegar no top 8 do MyGod. Tá o ninja mesmo, tá o Jiraiya, tá jogando que nem o quê? Nem o Guifé, né? Ah, desses jogos assim eu não curto não. Esses jogos aí, ó. É, a galera é gente boa, mano. Também, filho, eu comecei assim, mano, assistindo um pessoal que sabia jogar, pô. Entendeu? Aí aos poucos, quando você vai ver, já é. Evolui muito o PES ultimamente, cara. Rapaz, nem de PES eu tava jogando direito. Agora, piorou. Joguei esses dias aí a final do Black Day aí. Cantata. Joguei esses dias a final do Black Day aí, depois nem liguei mais o livro. Ligo no máximo aí uma vez na semana. Essa semana eu nem liguei direito também. Agora na sexta-feira à noite, sexta-feira eu vou voltar com a live, né? À noite.
Meet Squadron 51.
Obrigado, é isso. Vou voltar com as lives à noite aí com o nosso povo. Saudades.
Highly skilled pilots that are willing to give their lives to save the Earth from the hands of dreadful imperialist aliens. Flying saucers have invaded our planet. The whole world is under attack. But fear not. I repeat.
Eu tô achando que não vai ter nada de PES nem de FIFA ainda, né? Parece que o jogo pesa. Parece? Você acha que parece? Tenho certeza.
Are you ready? You'll still have to wait to meet the full experience of Squadron 51. But beware, Squadron 51 Prologue will soon be available. 3 levels of marvelous excitement will be there waiting for you.
Jogo feio da miséria esse aí, velho.
Será uma longa noite, senhores.
No trailer do jogo, será?
Enlist now and be a part of Squadron 51. Without you, our planet is unfortunately doomed.
Squadron 51. Bosta, hein?
Wow, that was kind of like Cuphead's flying levels meets all those UFO
Falta
videos.
10 minutos pra acabar e nada.
Love it. Although, if you ask me, all this UFO UAV.
Tem cada jogo que, meu Deus.
Probably just a deflating weather balloon. Anyhow, our next game is one I'm especially excited for. It's got swordplay, cyberpunk, and side-scroller. The 3 S's of games that I get especially
lá o cara tem que ter sangue no
Let's see
zóio,
what
mano.
Movemaster has in store.
Os corpos.
Detective, you may not know me yet. I want to play a game.
Esse cara parece o Lester do GTA. O jogo aí tá muito quadrado, mano. Você é a favor ou contra esses caras que usam seta azul na entrada? Eu sou contra, né? Eu sempre joguei pra frente. Às vezes ficar na entrada não vira não.
Do you think death is the ultimate relief? Your life and death are just part of my plan.
Interessante, né? O jogo, velho. Primeiro Lembra aquele jogo que era do Mega Drive chamado Shinobi? Teve uma parte agora me fez lembrar daquele jogo.
You're trying
Saiu
so
o
hard
raio
to
ali.
find an answer.
Olha isso aí! O tamanho da espada do homem. Devil May Cry?
Now,
Não!
you see me.
Uma pinça.
Come on now, that looks pretty rad.
Ruim não
Or,
é não,
if
mano, o
Mancer's
jogo.
not your cup of roguelike, stick around because the Awesome Indies Showcase will be right back after a quick break with 7 more meaty indie trailers fit for a beach day barbecue. Oh! Whoa! That's all right. Oh, no worries. I got it. Our bad. We should move. Let's move off the court.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance.
Comercial da Gamescom.
From the creators of Plan Turismo, League of Legends, and Minecraft. Released in 2020, Expansion Pack 2021 launched soon. Gamescom Forest. Not a game, but a game-changing project. Thousands of trees were donated by the best community in the world because we need oxygen even more than a good Wi-Fi signal. Save a bee, plant a tree. Let's grow the Gamescom Forest.
Pode, filho.
From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and
Vai cair aí,
games,
filho.
reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Tá hoje, né? O eFootball, quer dizer. E aí, Marcelo, você tá bem, mano? Como você tá,
Gamescom
irmão?
2021 is presented by Pluto TV. Free to watch.
Ó, não esquece, hein, mano. Na sexta-feira à noite a gente volta com as lives aí, viu?
And stay down!
Tá osso essa Gamescom,
Oh, hi there.
não me fala,
Michael
cara.
Swain still here for the Gamescom Awesome Indies
Não, mas é
Showcase.
melhor ficar sem
Your place
mesmo
to
do que
get
ver aquilo ali de
exclusive
novo.
first looks at the best indie
Daí
gaming
football.
on the horizon.
Melhor ficar
I'm
sem.
sorry about that. I just had to show a volleyball who's boss. Anyway, before we start grilling up some fresh trailers, shout out to Gamescom Forest, an
Yeah,
ongoing
man.
donation drive to help keep the planet green, and the Gamescom Indie Arena booth, keeping the spirit of independent gaming alive.
Não, mas eu tô
Plus,
mentindo.
if you want to get your hands on some Gamescom
Ele vai
merch, head
passar o
over
mesmo
to
trailer que a gente já viu hoje mesmo.
gamescomware.com.
Ah, pra merda.
Remember, you can find out more about all
Konami é
this good
Gamescom,
stuff
gente.
over at now.gamescom.global, where you can make the
Não.
most of your
Basta
Gamescom
passar a
experience.
raiva uma vez por dia, tá bom.
Gamescom. Gamescom. Gamescom.
Passar a raiva de
Coming
dois
up
minutos
next,
com o Konami Gamescom.
Spooky Block. 4 indie games designed to give you the heebies, if not, in fact, the GBs to boot. Yes, it's truly scary stuff. Not very beach day appropriate, I guess, but if you've ever been to Venice
Tudo
Beach in the
certo,
middle of the
graças a
night, you
Deus,
know
eu
what
sei,
we're talking
mano.
about.
Tô
Speaking
firme e
of
forte aqui, vendo
lightlessness,
só
let's kick the block off
os
with
desastres
There
da
Is
Gamescom.
No Light.
Exclusivo. Tem alguns jogos que dá pra encarar, agora tem outros jogos, mano. Olha esse jogo aí, ó. Tá parecendo que é 2D, cara. Agora você teria coragem de jogar um jogo 2D pra PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5? O Felipe, acordei agora. Ela tava virado também, né, filho?
So take my faith back.
Oi? Dá pra jogar um jogo desse no PlayStation 4?
I reject this place.
Sei lá, as gerações de hoje em dia tá tudo... Em vez de avançar, tá indo pra trás, pô.
I reject your God.
There is no lies. Gente, eu só queria que tirasse os bugs. Aí fizeram o contrário. Lascaram foi com tudo. Game Boy? Não, e agora piorou, né? Segundo a Konami, acabou os manual tudo, até o defensivo manual lá, acabou. Você mandava o cara pra cima da bola pra ir tomar a bola quadrada e ficava tentando marcar com o outro, não vai ter mais, filho. Agora vai ser só proteção e esperar o cara vir dar o ataque pra você tentar roubar a bola dele. PS5 tem qualidade pra 4K, mano. Que horas encerra o evento? Às 16, o Juscelio. E nada de PS, nada de FIFA, nada de nada.
Ils sont dans notre tranchée!
É, então, não, tem isso aí, né, Juscelio? Se vai ser bom ou não, o importante é ser de graça, mano. É o seguinte, acho que no momento que eu vou jogar e eu não gostar, eu vou lá e excluir. E eu tenho certeza que vocês também vão fazer isso, né? Se vocês jogarem, se vocês não gostarem, vocês vai mandar lá pra PQP. Meu amigo, que gráfico feio, mano. O gráfico tá horrível aí, mano. Tudo bem que jogo outros estilos de jogos. É, dá pra brincar mesmo com outros jogos, mano. Tem muito jogo bom, cara. Principalmente pro PlayStation 5 lá, eu tava vendo lá, mano. Tem muitos jogos top, mano. O cara que depende só de PES, mano, é pra cair com o da bunda, velho. Ah, mas você gosta de futebol? Sim, eu gosto, mano. Eu gosto, eu acho que todo mundo gosta, mano, de futebol. Com os script. Ainda bem que é só pastinha essa bosta. Então eu gosto de futebol, cara. Eu acho que a nação toda gosta, né? Mas do jeito que nós vimos ali, não dá não. Os caras acabou, destruiu mesmo com o PES. O cara tá bravo. O Twitter tá pegando fogo lá, mano. Ô, me ajuda aí, cara. Quem tiver Twitter lá, mano, segue lá no Twitter lá, velho. Tô com Twitter novo, tá?
In a spooky manner, follow Emma and Fenton, a magic tandem,
O
using
antigo foi
light and
roubado.
shadows, looking for Thomas Kane, the missing son of
Pagar
famous
5 mil no game
magicians.
ver isso.
In tandem, you will switch
Eu tô lhe
between
falando,
Emma
não
and Fenton
pensa não.
in two dimensions. Emma needs
E
to create
pelo que eu vi, o
great
preço
shadows
do
with the
PlayStation
lamp.
5
So
ontem
Fenton
tava na
can
promoção.
and reach the crystal.
Tava 3.200,
in
mano.
many ways.
3.200
As each chapter offers fun
no
new
Carrefour.
ways to solve
O
puzzles.
que já acabou também foi assim, ó. Rapidão,
Emma
mano.
and Fenton working
Rapidão.
together is the only way to progress.
3.200.
Many challenges and dangers await our two friends, and their progress will be complicated by strange.
E a tendência é só baixar agora, né?
They will also be
E o dólar tá voltando ao normal aos poucos.
speed and dexterity. At the end,
Meu amigo, a briga tá feia lá no
everything they
Twitter,
have
mano.
learned to contend with a massive, horrifying creature. Emma and Fenton.
A briga tá feia no Twitter. Eu gosto de ver porrada começando. Eu gosto de ver, não gosto nem de me intrometer, só gosto de ver.
Find Thomas Kane and solve the mystery.
Islam One PC e PS4. Exclusivo.
Oh, hi, I'm the developer, and my game, Terrabane, is so perfect, you don't actually need to see it. So, this trailer is over. We're done here. Bye.
Fim. Parece Superman, né?
Okay, there's still a few bugs in here, but why don't you take a different path?
Games antigos, ó. Isso aí parece um novo Zelda, né?
Don't worry, guys. I'll fix everything with a day
Eu quero de jogo é esse, imagina rodando no Poderoso. Não, engraçado que, ó, as imagens, tudo top, né? Mas aí é pra Nintendo Switch, pô. Nintendo Switch, Steam. A imagem. O cara passa ali, o cara olha assim, mas nossa, o jogo deve ser top. Chega aí, é uma bosta.
You know what? You're all right, Terrabane. Next up, I hope you took your rabies shot because it's time for some vicious-ass animal action. It's our zoological block. Take it away, you misshapen freaks of nature.
Vamos lá, vamos ver o próximo. Kill 10 Out. Jogo do futuro. O coelhinho que fuma maconha. O jogo do futuro é o coelho que fuma maconha, eu vou te falar, meu. Mas isso aí. Crack Show.
The champions are on their way to the arena. A quick recap for our fans.
Ele tá com os olhos desse tamanho.
The rules are super simple.
Ó, tem o co-op também, ó, aí, ó. Os bagulhos que gostam.
Only while standing still. Victory is secondary to becoming famous. Gain likes to enter next episode. In our show, we want the heroes to build their popularity. Shoot!
A vaca assassina. Morreu.
You are watching this live.
Tubarão.
Sponsors to provide many tools of destruction. In our show, we never jump the shark.
Mas se for pra celular dá pra jogar, hein?
We need to revive a
Ó o galo.
In other words, sneak the sunrise past the rooster. Defeat bosses in all the seasons and become a legendary celebrity.
Só pra Steam, mano. Graças a Deus. Graças a Deus. Isso aqui é RPG?
The trees. From the sun they gave
Legends of Scapeers.
From the wind they gave shelter. They filtered the water, kept the soil from washing away. They gave us life, but between two trees. Now the trees are so far from each other. I am Vavzez, teller of the 13th caravan of the Makar, the only one still living. As it was for the 12 before us, our mission was to plant a new tree, to serve as a city for climatic refugees. We joined the many who failed in their task. May our experience serve
Três
you well,
sapos.
for it is now you, the 14th caravan, who are tasked with continuing the work of the Macabre. Escort your botanist to the ends of the world. Create a new haven, that the caravan that follows you may go even further. And continue our quest for knowledge that will one day allow the 15th, the 16th, the 100th, to repair the ancient folly that made this world hostile to life.
Eu ganhei de RPG, né? Esses jogos aí da Gamescom tá me dando sono, mano. Sandwalkers. Graças a Deus, nada pra PS4. Festinho. Yo-Yo. Graças a Deus. Isso aí também deve ser jogo pra PC, isso aí, ó. Do louco. Dá não, velho. Dá não. Dá não. Steam e Facebook, Twitter, ah não.
The Awesome Indies showcase has to take a short break to recover from severe maulings, but when we return, we'll show off the worst park job in Venice Beach. Stay tuned.
Acabou, né?
Gamescom 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance.
Breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered.
Competition brings out the best in all of us. Well, mostly.
Oh, that's a controller break.
That's unfortunate. Welcome to IGN Compete, where we bring you the stories behind the esports headlines. From the triumphs
takes the game
to the hardships to the miracle moments that will go down in history.
I just can't believe it!
It's crazy. It's all here on IGN Compete.
God, I'm in disbelief!
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and...
Me, Akeem Lewanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by Pluto TV, free to watch.
Só comercial.
Here we are. We're like sharks, but looking for poorly parked cars. My intrepid crew out here with me, walking B1 Rose Lot at historic Venice Beach. looking for the worst parked car we can find. Now, ideally, we want to find cars, you know, the basics. Flipped over, stacked on top of one another.
Looks like this guy's over the line gratuitously.
Oh, that's true. Over the line in more directions than one. Get a circle around this guy. I think this is our winner. Can we see clearly past the line in more directions than one? If this car were bowling, it would score a 0. Walter, played ably by John Goodman, would put a gun to its head and say, mark it 0, because clearly, as you can tell, it is over the line. So, Anonymous Ram 1500, congratulations. You are the winner of the worst park job on this, the day of the Awesome Indies Showcase. Coming up next, appropriately enough, a game called You Suck at Parking. It's all the fun of parking badly, but with none of the judgment. Let's check it out.
Ai, meu Deus do céu. Tá me animando muito também.
That was You Suck at Parking, an Indie Arena Booth featured game, and as good a reason as any to hit you with a block of realness. You sick of fantasy? Tired of sci-fi? Here are 4 indie games that take place IRL and make no apologies about it. Let's get real with The Amazing American Circus, City Block Builder, Roots of Pacha, and Townscaper.
Hard work. That's what America in the 19th century was all about. Poor farmers, tough men and women sweating in the factories to earn a better future. But from that sad melody emerged another song, the exotic music of the circus, bringing magic and excitement that lit the darkness of an everyday life. Once upon a time, during that marvelous era, a young drifter learned about the death of his good-for-nothing father. Soon, he also found out that he'd inherited from his old man 2 things, a rundown circus and a dream to make it great. He knew that the president was organizing a circus competition. Now that sounded like a place to be, and an adventure worth a try. Soon, with the help of his uncle, the young ringmaster hired a troupe of exotic artists, illusionists, clowns, strongmen. He had to be ready for any type of audience, be it poor miners, scary bandits, or even whimsical elegant ladies, or ghosts, or Bigfoot. Just about anything that the U.S. of A. could offer. Even sharpshooting Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley, or genius inventors like Henry Ford and Nikola Tesla. Everyone wanted to visit the circus. He had to cross the whole continent, all for the sake of getting to the East Coast on time for performing in front of President Roosevelt and his royal guest, Her Majesty Queen Victoria. All that to snatch from P.T. Barnum the title of the greatest showman on earth, and to win a gig across Europe. You know what? The lucky bastard did it. Or didn't he? After all, this is just a fairy tale, one that America is full of. So maybe you should try to find out for yourself what really happened in that story. In the story of The Amazing American Circus.
Você tem circus.
Hi, I'm Timo.
And I'm Johnny. We are the founding brothers of Soda Dem, the developers making Roots of Pacha.
Roots of Pacha is a cozy game about being the first person to form and develop the ideas that shape humanity.
We
play as a member of the clan, living in the land between two rivers.
Set in a fictional world, but inspired by our own, we set out to make a co-op game we could play together even though we are miles apart.
We started by imagining our prehistoric selves, looking at fire and asking how we could make it, and then realized that concepts and ideas are the foundations of how we relate to the world.
É, mas tem que mostrar, tem que trazer o pessoal, dar uma olhada. Senão a gente só fica no futebol, mano. E o futebol ultimamente não tá sendo uma boa opção não, né não, Fábio?
How did we go from just hunting animals to sharing our homes with them?
Every new material we found sparked ideas that turned into better tools. We found ourselves with a surplus of food, so we created new ways to process and store it for the colder season.
Sim, concordo plenamente. Sabe o que você faz, Ana?
Baixa
o emulador,
and as we
celular,
cooperated, we began to reach heights that never seemed possible before.
Põe lá o Super Mario, mano. Super Mario é da hora.
Our lives became enriched with music.
Super Mario.
Stories we passed
Põe
down
o Sonic,
through
Sonic é da hora.
And we reached a point
São jogos
where
bons.
we could create, not just for
No
survival,
chat,
but to
voltei. Eu amo o
live
chat.
our fullest.
Não esquece do like não, muchacho.
What it means to be an early human.
Vai lá comigo, lá.
And how our choices brought us to where we are today.
Meu amigo, tem alguns jogos aí que, meu Deus, viu? É, notebook dá pra jogar de boa também, mano. Mas lá você baixa o quê? Baixa o pack de... Vamos supor um exemplo, Mega Drive, sabe? Aí vai vir todos os jogos de Mega Drive. Baixa o pack de Nintendo, vai vir todos os jogos de Nintendo. É bom. O Felipão tá fazendo live? Ah, que bom, pô. Não tem nem como fazer a invasão lá, só tem 4 pessoas aqui. Tá querendo que eu faça invasão com 4 pessoas? Tô vergonha na sua cara, pô. Vai ser agora, confia. Vai ser agora, confia. Eu não confio mais na Konami e nem na Gamescom, que tá pior ainda. Já volto, cavalo bem. Vou dar uma moral pra ele lá. Ah, demorou, pai. Eu tô achando que esse treino não vai sair não, viu? Sinceramente, vai ficar pra amanhã, você vai ver. Nintendo Switch PC.
You just saw trailers for a roguelike CCG about the circus, a city management game, a caveman simulator, and a quaint village building toy. And hey, if Townscaper piqued your interest, it's available on the Nintendo Switch as of 10 minutes ago. Nice! Coming up, in case your taste is a bit more fantastical, we've got a whole mess of wacky sci-fi robot games right after the break, so stick around. It's gonna be robot-tacular.
Gamescom 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance.
Será que vai vir mesmo agora, Fábio?
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars,
Você já viu as 3 vezes?
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it. Gamescom 2021 is presented by Pluto TV, free to watch.
Tem mais 6 minutos que eu tenho que tomar banho para ir trabalhar.
And we are back with more Awesome Indies Showcase. I'm your host, Michael Swaim, here having a fabulous speech day all by myself, because who says you can't? Remember, you can check out a full Gamescom schedule at IGN.com or catch up on anything you miss over at now.gamescom.global. Gamescom is powered by gamers, so jump in and let's get going. Speaking of global, wow, that's kind of a stretch. Everyone in the world loves robots. Doing the robot, talking like a robot, navigating your robot through an ever-changing slalom of enemies and traps. So let's take a peek.
Ah, você tá falando dos jogos, né? Não viu nenhum de extraterrestre.
God damn it! Son of a... Why does this keep happening?
Ele tava até empolgado que tomou até uma na cabeça e deitou ali, ó, desmaiou.
Hi, Chris from the 30XX team here. This is Fires of Industry, the first 30XX major update. It has a brand new level type, a host of new friends to help you conquer it,
Passou
and much more.
o Halo, Ana, mais cedo.
Forgotten Factory, Dust
De extraterrestre, meu.
high-speed kinetic
Da hora.
action.
Vai
Use
ser só
strengths to
pra
bounce along wild paths not possible
Microsoft,
in
né?
other levels,
E
and turn
Xbox.
the tide of battle by smashing explosives into nearby foes. Tired of aiming? Try Nina's new Jagged Bolt, which bends in midair and adds homing capabilities to her other powers. Master Ace is devastating Ryusei ground smash to
Pô,
bolt.
só tá bom, mas pelo que eu tô vendo é monte.
You don't have to face Dustry's new challenges alone. Fires of Industry adds repros to 30XX, loading friends you can find that'll help out in battle and open up fresh new build options.
Se for problema de cortar, viu, mano?
Little Hoot here charges up a tornado attack whenever you yourself use a power, and Reboot juices up as you defend against attacks, building into a devastating laser. Find them all and see how they can help you out. This is 30XX's first major content update, but we've been hard at work on the game since its early access launched 6 months ago. In that time, we've more than tripled the number of items and weapons to get equipped with each run, added wild prototype logs that flip and run on its head, added daily challenges so you can test your metal against 30XX's best, and greatly improved online play stability. Of course, there's still so much more to come. 30XX's Fires of
Ele tá
Industry
xingando minha mãe nesse exato momento. E eu tô rindo dele, José.
Beginning final tests before launch.
Movement functionality.
Best gameplay.
Great. Initiating time transfer.
Time transfer complete. Successfully arrived in 1995. Local time, 10 a.m. We did it. Movement functionality is damaged. We need to find and reattach the missing wheels.
E aí, Cleilson? Beleza, Cleilson? Não, passou não, cara. Você ficou, eu acho que não passa hoje mais não, viu? Já deu o horário, não acabaram o negócio. Tá dando é meu horário de ir trabalhar. Tá dando é meu horário de ir trabalhar.
I'm counting on you.
Time Loader. Jogo feio. Que jogo horrível. Aí, Ana, você não queria aí, ó, jogo de extraterrestres? Esse aí tá mais pra um RPG, né? De extraterrestre. Ah, do eFootball eu já postei já de manhã, mas não foi pela Gamescom não, José. Foi pela própria Konami, mano. Na hora que saiu o trailer, 10 minutos a gente postou. Eu abri live tudo ainda pra comentar e falar sobre o jogo. Porra, de jogo é isso? Sei lá, eu. Olha aí. Jupiter Mons é pra Steam. Vai mostrar mais coisas diferentes. Que diabo é isso? Olha, é extraterrestre aí, Ana. Game. Zepa. Aquele jogo que o boneco parece a formiguinha. Parece mesmo. O José tá empolgado, hein, mano? Tá empolgado com o novo jogo. É, nada de Gamescom, nada de FIFA, nada de PES, nada de futebol.
In fact, it's been under wraps for a while now, so I only know it as Project Ricky. Could it be a Ricky Gervais simulator? A game about mixing the perfect lime Ricky? I don't know. All I know for sure is, basketballs now? That's it. I'm walking. We're moving. It's company move, people. You need to grab your shit and you walk with me.
Nem me fala. Acho que acabou, né? Big Sugar. Opa! O gráfico desse aí tá da hora. Porra, já vou ver isso aí, mano. Abissos. Só na Steam.
Okay, Michael Swaim still here for the Awesome Indies showcase, coming to you from an undisclosed location, far from any balls or other beach-related hazards. What was that? Oh no. All right, we're good. It's just a bird. Anyway, you just saw the world premiere trailer for Abysses, a brand new FPS. And now we're going to check out some indies set in medieval times, before volleyball or basketball were even invented. Must be nice. Let's take a closer look at the Serpent Rogue, Arcadian Atlas, and Evil.
Peggy 7.
Olha isso aí. Da cheirada. Olha isso aí. Meu Deus, que gráficos é esse aí, velho? Não vai dar nem mais pra continuar, porque... É 4h32, mano. Eu tenho que tomar banho pra ir trabalhar. Sexta-feira estamos de volta aí com live, tá? Qualquer atualização sobre o PES vou passar aí. E à noite a gente tem a nossa livezinha aí, mano. Vamos ver se eu começo um pouco mais cedo aí, sexta-feira, pra gente jogar os outros Onitapes. A coisa que eu mais gosto. O PES pra mim acabou, mano. Espera um pouco, a esperança série que morre. É a única mesmo, né? Não, eu já percebi que tá passando só bagulho de Steam agora, mano. Não sei se você percebeu. Depois do horário que deu ali às 16 horas, só bagulho de Steam, mano. Caramba, pro PS5. Olha. Eu vou continuar. Vou continuar, não. Ai, tá, mano, que eu vou assistir essa porra.
A day to choose
Ai, tá,
between
mano, que
that tyrant on my throne or me. But while battle lines...
É, vai ser o jeito de esperar, mano. Não tem outro jeito não, mano. Os caras compram o PS5 pra jogar uns jogos desses. Ah, mano, não dá não, velho. Não dá pra jogar esses jogos aí não. Cala a boca! Cala a boca, você não entendeu que eu não quero mais assistir essa porra? Ai, tomando de cu. Pronto, agora sim, estamos bem decididos, bem resolvidos. Calma aí. Ai, caralho. Vamos lá, deixa eu ver aqui. Muito obrigado aí, ó, a presença do Fábio aí, ó. Fábio, o Cleilson, o Jocélio Lopes, o Lucas. Cadê? A Ana que tava aí a todo momento aí, junto com a LS90. O Sebastião. O Marofa. O Fagundes, muito obrigado a presença de todos vocês, cara. Deus abençoe, tamo junto. Ó, amanhã é sexta-feira, mano. Sexta-feira é isso? Deixa eu ver. Amanhã é sexta-feira à noite. A gente vai abrir uma live, né? Sexta-feira à noite, vou tentar abrir mais cedo. E pra gente curtir, bagunçar, né, mano? Pra quem não sabe, a gente tem uns comandos gratuitos, né? Vamos aproveitar o resto da morte. Vamos puxar direto o PES pra cova de vez, né? E vamos aproveitar o final dele, beleza? Tamo junto, fiquem todos com Deus. E até amanhã, não esquece, mano. Use álcool em gel, que o negócio tá feio. Falou, fiquem com Deus e fui!